you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Vliet.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Gittin Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride, Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Sara Price here, coming at you live from the 2017 Polaris RZR UTV World Championship. Sitting here in the Polaris RZR booth, and I don't know, things are popping off here. Pretty good price.
Yeah, it's going good. We're actually sitting right in front of us. A new Polaris RZR just got given to Jesse Nelson.
I know.
It's pretty cool.
I'm loving the livery on that thing. Like the blue and the red just pop.
I'm pretty sure Troy Lee's standing right next to him, so I think he has a big part in how that car looks. And custom paint job,
we're kissing
maybe.
Inside the car right now. You know life is good, right?
Oh, yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, but, out here, Polaris RZR UTV World Championship. I know, man, we got a heck of a guest lineup here. 90 minutes are going to be on air, and I'm looking down here. We've got Chris Day from Street Outlaws. We got Colton Moore, Shelby Anderson. That'll be fun.
I love Shelby. Always a good time talking to her.
Yeah, I got Brandon Sims, Mitch Guthrie Jr., Ivan Stewart.
Champ.
Yeah, the champ. Ivan Stewart.
And Iron Man.
You're going to stop by. We got Jolene Van Vliet, Alyssa Ronick from ESPN. So, I don't know. I think we're packing 90 minutes full here. Should definitely be a good time. I know I'm racing tomorrow in the Star Car. I know you're not racing, though, right? I know James is racing.
Yep, James is racing. Somehow he's pulling that cane. He said he's bringing that cane in the car with him.
He told me.
He broke his hip recently, so he's like, yeah, he made it out of 1 1/4 inch steel, so he custom-made cane, and he's like, if someone comes close, I'm just putting that out the window.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, you could probably get in the cane business. It's a better-looking cane than I think you can buy. So.
I seriously had a whole marketing plan, and I proposed it. He goes, I don't want to make canes.
No, what we need to do is you need to take that cane and have it made out of carbon fiber or something.
There you go, lightweight.
Lightweight with a moto grip on there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, definitely.
No, yeah, unfortunately not racing, but I have my car out here. It's on display. It's really pretty, and I have to keep it that way for a little longer.
New one? I know you built that as literally a car where you can just go out and jump and thrash and have fun. And how is it?
It's a blast, man. I've taken it out 2 times now, and for the first one, it was for a magazine shoot, and hopefully that comes out soon. And then the next time was with Jolene, actually, in the hills, and we got chased by the cops that day.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about this. Joe didn't tell me about that. No, you guys were chased by the cops?
We were chased by the cops. So Joe's in the passenger seat, and we're just sitting here, and all of a sudden we're like, why? The person who's leading, we're like, why are they all over the place? Like, this makes no sense. And then we end up getting pulled over with our group, and they're like, the cops are right behind you girls. And we're like, really? We never even once saw them. And then the other people behind them were like, yeah, did you not see the cops? And we're like, we did not ever see them. I don't know how we missed them, but then we ended up taking these back roads and all this stuff, and we had to go back home. But, yep.
Hey, man, running from the law. Jeez.
Breaking the law.
Yeah, you guys got some banging places to ride out there. I know, like, after I went out there and tested the Star Car, I'm like, holy crap, I would never figure that'd be that close to Elsinore.
Right.
Like, you think of Southern California, like, there's nowhere to ride. You got to get out of town. Like, you guys, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we kind of made like a little haven and grown up on those trails. So when new people come out, they're like, wait, what? And like, yeah, we just basically race here and then we race back. And there's 20 different ways you can go. And then there's tons of tracks to hit on the way. Go jump in the lake. Go indoor skydive. Go to the bar. Go to the cafe. It's fun.
Nice. I know we got BC Vaught hanging out over here. See if we can get Kamikaze on here in a minute. We got Chris Day from Street Outlaws. He's going to jump on the line with us. And we got Colton Moore right after that. So, I don't know. We got BC. Yeah, right there. Yeah,
The man himself.
Yeah,
Kamikaze.
Yeah, you can grab one of these chairs. Yeah, I'm telling you guys that are listening in online, we are just literally shooting from the hip today. We're going to pull people in. And so, I don't know, you're going to hear some background and chatter and razors. Yeah, we'll get Kamikaze here mic'd up. Yeah, we got your... No, you're good. You can't mess them up, dude. They've been dropped by everybody. Beer spilled on them and everything else, so...
Yeah, don't worry. It's
all
clean.
All right, we get you mic'd up.
We put your headset clean.
You guys...
Just for you, we cleaned it.
Well, all right, you there now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yep,
we got
we can
you.
hear you.
Okay.
Dialed in here.
I'm here.
All right, so, yeah, we got Chris Day, Street Outlaws, Kamikaze, a.k.a. Kamikaze. And,
Yeah,
man, what brings you out here to the UTV World Championship? I mean, we see you on Discovery Channel and that, but what brings you out here?
Well, most people don't know my background from a little kid until I got really serious into the car stuff was all motocross.
Oh, okay.
So I've always been a dirt bike off-road guy, and a little while before the show, I had a RZR as well.
Oh, nice.
And so I was always hitting the dunes up and everything else. And so eventually, if some things would go a certain way, I probably am going to steer myself into off-road and things like that because I enjoy it a lot. It's fun. I mean, hell, the RZR I had is like the funnest thing I've ever owned, I think.
Yeah.
I could beat the crap out of it and just park it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I think everybody says. You know, you get a RZR and, you know, 22, 23 grand brand new at this point, you know, and it's like, I don't know where else you can spend that kind of money and have that much fun. You know, I guess maybe a dirt bike at 7 or 8 grand brand new, but you know what I mean? It's just...
I'm getting a little older, so it's kind of like, you know, the dirt bike things is still, two wheels are always my favorite, but God, I'm getting a little, you know, I can't take a spill like I used to.
I've heard that story before, and
Yeah.
it's, you know, with age comes a cage.
Yeah. Now I feel like, now she's like checking my manhood. I feel like
No, I've raced
Nah,
motocross
I'm gonna-
all my life, so I understand.
now I'm going to get a dirt bike and just go after it. No.
Yeah. No, so I mean, Street Outlaws, man. Tell us how this whole deal got put together, because I mean, I know you've been racing for a long time. I mean, how is that? Because I've met a lot of people where all of a sudden, you're doing everything you've always done, but now cameras are on you.
Yeah.
You know, how was that? Because it's like I know most of the time, it's the authentic, the organic people. You know what I mean? That really pop good on TV, and I got a feeling that's how you are, and it's just now they're just filming what you've been doing for years. You know,
that's true. That the way the show came about is, me and Chief and Sean and the other guys, Dave and the rest of the guys on the show actually really did street race for money, and we had races. So eventually, I guess the production company and Discovery found us on YouTube and approached us about doing the show. So a lot of it had to do with luck, to be honest. Yeah. And then they filmed us doing what we actually do, and the show is legitimately real. Like, the races are real; they're not set up, and most of the stuff is organic, like you said. So I think people relate to it. And people relate to a car like mine a lot because mine's like a garage-built, one-man show, regular guy racing some pretty high-dollar cars at this point.
Yeah.
But, honestly, I think we got lucky. And, I'm the same way right now. Like, I'm a heating and air guy from Oklahoma that used to race, and no one had a damn clue. And so now there's cameras there, but I'm still a heating and air guy from Oklahoma. I just get to race on TV now.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm lucky, super lucky.
Well, that's what they say too. Never get too excited to leave your day job because you never know when the when the TV cameras are going to go away, and then all of a sudden it's like, what the hell do I do?
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole thing. You got Plan B's got to always be there.
Yeah. It's like, well, I know Street Bike Tommy from Nitro Circus. He's a good friend of mine.
God,
and
I love him.
Yeah, Street Bike Tommy. He's one of the most genuine guys, and it's the same Tommy you get, whether it's on TV or away from things. But he's still, when he's not touring Nitro Circus, he's still hanging drywall and stuff. He's like, I never want to have to go back to that job. But he's like, I know that I need to still know how to do it because cameras may go away at some point.
And my whole baground's construction. Sheetrocks are rough. That's rough. That's the one thing I wouldn't do. But
a lot of work.
Love watching that guy. He's God, when he crashed that bike.
That was gnarly.
Poor guy.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Like, I have a paint business, and not a lot of people know that. They think I race for a living, but it's like, no. I just don't paint that often, and I race a little more, and that's what gets shown on everything. But you always have to have that plan B.
Yeah, people see me, they're like, what do you do? I'm like, well, I do heating, and I'm a heating and air contractor. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. There is absolutely no money in the racing I do, except for bet money and stuff like that. But the cars cost so much, as you guys know. Racing, it's big. It's big money.
Yeah.
One thing I like about what you guys do too, it's like, I just did an interview with Antron Brown, and he's one of the best drag racers in the world, right?
Yep.
But you look at a top fuel car like that, I can't relate. You know, you're talking 10,000 horsepower, whatever it is. I can't relate. But what you guys are doing, I can relate. You know what I mean? It's like, I understand wrenching on your own stuff and, you know what I mean, and finding, you know, 5 horsepower here, 5 there, you know. But to me, it's real numbers, you know, and it's, you know, you watch what they do in NHRA, and it's just, to me, it's like, it's cool to watch, but it's I can't relate to it.
Yeah, the top fuel cars are badass. If you've never seen a top fuel car, like it's like life-changing. But that's the one thing about my car. It's changed so much since I've had it. But one of the big things I wanted to do is keep it. There's a lot of history in my car, so I wanted to keep it like in El Camino still. Which is, another thing that's kind of cool is who the hell races an El Camino? Anyways. But, you know, I love that car, and it still looks like an El Camino. It's still, you know, stock wheelbase and everything. You can't even see the cage. Like, I hid the cage in the back half so you can't see it from the side.
That's cool.
So I spend a bunch of time doing stuff like that. But, yeah, I think people like my car a lot because it's still, you know, a car we could all have. If you wanted El Camino, you could have the kind of car I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of replicate it pretty easily to where it's like people relate.
Yeah. Like, don't do it, but hey, if you like El Caminos that much, you know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things I'm like, man, I wish Ford and Chevy would come back with Rancheros and El Caminos.
They
like,
are.
I know in Australia they've got like a Falcon Ute, and they've got, I think Holden has a certain, they look, you know, basically modern, you know, Rancheros and Elcos, but that's down in Australia. Here in the States, you know, it's.
No, I think it's coming. I think they're having it come back. I think 2018 they're supposed to be a El Camino, a new one.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, there's going to be a waiting list for that, right?
Oh God, they need to give me one. I feel like I should get an El Camino.
Yeah,
One of the
you should. It's product placement, right?
I need a mullet and an El Camino. I'm money.
Ronnie Renner, his Camino, he like freaking takes his dirt bike, loads it right up, goes to the track. I'm like, that is the coolest thing ever.
Who did you say?
Ronnie Renner.
Ronnie Renner. Wow.
Yeah, he has a pretty cool like ghost
really?
lanes in it. It's orange, very orange.
Yeah.
But he pulls up just doing burnouts in it. This bike in the back. I'm like, that is rad.
Yeah.
I want
you
that.
You can't get much cooler than that.
No.
And it's funny about Renner too. He buys and sells cars like crazy. He got a brand new Subaru and he owned it 6 months and gets rid of it. You know, this STI. The El Camino, that's where he draws the line. Car's not for sale.
Never for sale.
I feel like if you're at a big race and there's like factory rigs there, and you show up in an El Camino with a bike in the back, like you win.
Yeah,
like,
you win.
Cool
You're the fastest.
Yeah. You're definitely the coolest.
You look good.
I don't care how big your
fast.
semi is.
Yeah. That's kind of my thing.
Oh,
so it's fun.
great.
It's a fun car.
Nice. So what's up next for you, man?
Man, that's the thing. You never know. We just got the word for sure that they picked up season 10.
Okay.
Awesome.
So somehow a bunch of idiots like us are now going to shoot season 10 of the show, which is cool.
Yeah.
So we're still filming now. There's a big race coming up at the end of this month that I've got to get back. I'm leaving straight from this show back to Oklahoma, get a thrash on the car and test, and then we're going to film that race and then go right into filming season 10.
Wow.
So we're still filming the show, doing that, and then just trying, like everybody else, to find a way to make a living doing what you love, racing and stuff. So that's kind of what I do now. Just
And I know with reality TV and stuff like that, I mean, you know, a lot of people think, oh, you're on TV, you're getting paid millions of dollars, you know, and immediately it's like, oh, you're on TV, it's a lot of money. And I do a lot of TV voiceovers and things like that. Sarah does stunt work, and everybody immediately is like, oh, you're making a lot of money. I'm like, no, I don't work that way.
Yeah.
Like, you better hope you can sign an endorsement deal or something, you know?
It's a battle. And, like, as the reality TV stuff has changed over the last couple of years, the production companies, man, it's a battle to get some money now. Everyone thinks that, you know, we're all getting rich, and it's like, well, first of all, these cars cost. The last motor I put in my car is $40,000, and they didn't pay for it. Like, I sold everything I owned to build that damn thing. So that's happening, and then there's not like, I'm not rich. I wouldn't do heating and air if I was. You know, so
that's the dream, to be able to sell your heating and air business, right?
Yeah,
it's how you market it, kind of. You know, like you use it as a tool to keep your car going, to get sponsors on board, to get people to fund the things that you actually want to do, to continue to do that stuff. You know,
it was funny for me because I never told anybody I street raced or drag raced a whole lot, because a lot of customers will look at you like you're a criminal.
Yeah.
You know. And we always did things back on, like, industrial parks on, like, closed road type stuff, so we wouldn't hurt anybody else. But so when people started seeing me on TV, I'd show up at their house, and they're like, what the hell? I didn't know you raced. And I'm like, yeah. No one, even my family didn't know. They were like, you're on a TV show? I'm like, yeah. So that part's still cool, people seeing you and never having a clue you raced anything.
Yeah. Just a surprise of it all. And they're like, wait. And then you just show up to people's houses, too, watch
hilarious.
the show.
It's so fun.
And they're like, wait a minute. How does this work?
It's a weird moment. The first time I was on TV for, doing voice work or hosting, I can't even remember what it was. So I was at somebody's house, and this rerun on CBS Sports popped up, and here I am, and it was like so weird to see yourself on TV, and everybody kind of looks.
They look at you.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on?
Did you feel weird? Because I feel they'll look at me, and I'm like, oh Jesus, I'm just a heating and air guy.
Yeah,
and they'll look at you like, what? It's fun.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm damn lucky.
Yeah, definitely, man. But appreciate you stopping by. Stoked to have you out here at the UTV World Championship. And,
that's awesome.
Man, love to see you out, racing a RZR at some point, man.
Oh, yeah. That's the plan.
All right.
Well,
you're in with the right guy, BC Vaught, man. He can make stuff happen.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
BC. Good man.
Yeah,
sure.
These
things are a wild ride, that's for sure. And they're getting faster and faster, and they're turning into little desert trucks and
I love it.
cars. And
I love it. The
they
technology is going crazy.
Yeah, definitely are.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
That's
Take
awesome.
it easy, guys.
You.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. You too.
Krista, everyone from Street Outlaws.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We got social media shots coming here.
It's a little hot. The phones don't want to work when you're out here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's actually not hot yet either. When it starts getting real hot, you can't keep a shirt on.
Yeah. All right, we got Colton Moore next up in the hot
Colton
seat. We're just
Moore.
rolling here live from 2017 Polaris RZR UTV World Championship. And Colton Moore dropping down here. We've raced a little tear across the Colton.
What up?
Oh, there we go. I don't even know what to call you. Do we call you like Colton Moore, the RZR guy? Do we call you Colton Moore, the snowmobile guy? Colton Moore, the ATV guy? I don't know. It's like
the everything.
Power sports guy, I guess, right? Yeah. The RZR guy.
Awesome.
First off, how you feeling, man? How's things going with the recovery?
Yeah, it's going good. I've been rehabbing, ever since I got hurt. Like started rehab before I was even supposed to, and so I've just been taking it easy and making sure that it all comes back before I try to get crazy and screw it up again.
Yeah.
Nice. How's it been feeling? Everything.
It's weird. Like I've had broken bones and concussions and stuff, and it's always like, okay, 6 to 8 weeks and you're good. Well, with spinal cord, they're like, well, it's just time will tell. It's like, what do you mean time will tell? Come on, give me
a date.
Let me know when I can go.
Yeah.
We got to set the stopwatch. I got to know when I can jump back on the sled.
Exactly, but I guess that's not the case. So it's just kind of like time will tell, and I'm just doing everything I can to make sure time is going to be short.
Yeah, it is day by day.
Well, I guess I don't know if there's good news, but I guess the bright side would be, the snow side of things was winding down at, at that point. X Games kind of like the last big event, and so it's like, we're right in the transition period where, everything else starting to kick off, so it's not like you missed, X Games with a big snow season or anything,
Yeah, I made that. Now I just want to be on one of these cage things. I was already trying to push into one. They're like, it might be a little rough, so you might want to wait just a little bit. I was like, all right, well, just tell me when I can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a wild ride, man, but it's really cool seeing you, like, in the Winter X Games. I come from Summer X Games, and so I don't really know too much about the winter side, but I always heard your guys' names, and it was really cool watching you and your brother kind of come up through it all, and then see you now just pushing the limits and, carrying on his memory. It's so rad.
Yeah, it's awesome. I got to grow up with, my brother pushing me, and that's the reason where I'm at, and I just keep going to, like, represent for him and, have fun, basically.
Yeah.
It's funny because Levi LaValle's a good buddy of mine, too, and you talk to him, and it's like he's – his big thing now is Winter X, because he doesn't race anymore, and it's like he's prepping and I'll talk and we'll text and stuff like that. And it's like the one guy he's worried about is Colton. It's like, what's Colton going to bring this year that I don't know that he's got, It's like you're the guy that everybody's thinking about because they know you're bringing it,
I know. That's funny that they think that because I think that about everyone, I'm like, shoot. Levi's always quiet, so I'm always wondering the same thing. I'm like, what's Levi got in his bag,
Yeah, then he does something like tries to backflip in a race or something like that and twists his ankle. It's like, oh, man.
That's some crazy stuff you do. I don't know, like, what's that feeling when you're trying to pull off something that's just legendary and you're coming down to that ramp, you're just like, what, just all or nothing, or a sense of security, or just pretty much like, oh, well, I'm just going to try it?
No, that feeling this year was oh, shit feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't go good. But normally, like, I practice so much, like, I just have it, like, I'm in the zone, Once it's like sitting at the line and having them, like, stare at you and, like, count you down, that's the nervous part. But as soon as they, like, wave the flag, whatever, and tell you to go, like, then you're in your zone. So it's good. Like, you're just, like, programmed into what you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, this year with the double flip, it was a little different because I was, kind of takes it to another level. And I actually, I tried to do it in practice because in practice I knew I wouldn't have as much pressure and I could be calm and, like, act like it was my foam pit. Well, I screwed that up, and I actually wrecked in practice too. And then, so that just made it worse because I didn't get to try it again before, actual competition. So going out for the double flip that time, my nerves were going and I was nervous. So that's why I ended up giving a little too much gas and not using any of the downside at all.
Yeah. Straight, just blunt.
Well, the thing is now is, like, I know, like, freestyle, of 10 years ago, there was literally only, a handful of foam pits in the country, but it's like, so there was a lot of times in FMX and I know snowmobiles where, you guys were going to Winter X and it was throwing down and it was unknown. Like, you hadn't landed this, you had no idea. It was just like, it was a huck fest,
Yeah.
Now, for the most part, you guys have at least landed it into the foam, or you know how it rotates and how it should feel, So it's changed it up a bit where you're not going in completely cold turkey, right?
No, it's definitely a lot better. My brother was actually one of the guys that, like, I think 2 or 3 times went to X Games and threw a trick down at X that had never, he had never practiced before. But, we have a foam pit in our backyard, so it definitely makes it better to practice. But everyone thinks, if I had a foam pit, I could do it all. I could do everything, but it's not like all it's cracked up to be. That thing hurts too.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of foam pits, there's a video, and it might be from like a year ago. I think you were out at Pastrana's, and you hit this ramp on your quad, and dude, it was like the gnarliest thing I've ever seen because it's like you jumped and the takeoff was so far away from the pit. It just like looked like you flew out of the sky into this tiny foam pit. It was like the craziest video.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, it was like, I don't know, you were threading the needle there to hit the foam, man.
I know. We paper, rock, scissors to see who'd go first. I had never gone there, and I was like, you kidding me? I lost, of course. And I had to go first. I'm like, God, man.
Paper,
that
rock,
thing
scissors.
looks a lot smaller when you're going at it. It's like, well, all right, I lost. Let's see if I land in there.
Man.
I made it, though, so that was
You didn't want to be like a street bike Tommy and overshoot
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
right?
I was nervous, dude. I was like, all right, I know with paper, rock, scissors, but can you just go first?
Oh, man. I just like how you guys paper, rock, scissored that. Like,
That's like with everything with Travis. Like paper, rock, scissors. That's how you know.
some of the stuff they're doing over there is just insane. Like, coming in, like, 4th gear pinned up this big old huge ramp, and you're just like, what? Like, dude, how can you even hold the G-force going into that?
Thing in person,
That the triple flip ramp?
Yeah. Ramp. Oh, my God. Like, I've seen video, but you have no idea until you go stand next to that.
Jolene sent me a picture at the base of it, like, pointing upwards. And, and Jolene will hit just about anything, and she drew the line there. She's like, there's no way I'd even she's like, I wouldn't ride at this thing.
Yeah, it's
insane.
Well, it's like it's so easy just to have that much G-force going, and then you're trying to hold yourself straight on the ramp. Like, you kind of start, like, tilting, you don't realize it, and you're off. You're like, I'm landing in trees now.
Yeah, from, like, 80 feet up.
Yeah. Nice. So what's up next for you? Obviously, you've got the recovery going on. I know you're trying to get ready for a Torque Series that kicks off here in a couple months.
I'm working on trying to get with the Bikeman, team.
Yeah.
We're building a team. I have a car for me, but it's just time will tell. As soon as I'm better and I can hop in that, I'm good to go for the Torque Series. But for now, we actually have Mitch Guthrie Jr. He's going to take my spot in the car and actually, fill in for me. So
okay.
Awesome.
Oh, you're getting a good driver. Yeah.
I'm like, well, if you could choose anyone, you got the
he'll
right
help you
guy.
get it dialed in, and then he'll hand you the car that's all completely dialed, right?
Exactly.
You're going to be going in with, like, a championship round. Like, you're going to be like, man, so you're winning all this, huh?
Yeah, thanks for the help.
Yeah.
Here's a points league, Colton.
Man, that'd be great.
Yeah, how about Terracross? We're going to see you back maybe this year in Terracross?
I'd like to go to Terracross. Like I said, as soon as my doctor says I can go, I'm in it, And Terracross has always been fun for me. I've been in it the last couple of years, and so I hope I can make it back for that.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I know out there, especially heydays,
carnage.
Man. It's like, yeah,
always.
All I have to say is carnage.
Last year at Heydays, they literally, I think, out behind where they work on the cars, they had a pile of spare parts. When I say a pile, it looked like a haystack full of just spare parts. It was the craziest thing. I mean, and I don't know where I lost a picture, but I took a picture of it. And it was like as big as this easy. It was like a pile of parts.
Me and Jolie pulled off the track, and we went through 2 cars, I think, each.
Yeah.
Like, we're just sitting there. We're like, a tractor's holding them, and we're like, I don't know what happened.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, Colton. Yeah. Good to see you, man. Good to see you out and cruising.
Good to get away from therapy for a bit and see everyone, so it's awesome.
Yeah, great having you here and seeing you going up and about and, feeling good. So it's cool to see you.
Man.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Sure. Take it easy, buddy. We'll see. Catch up soon.
Right on.
Let's get that pick. All right,
Let's
got
get
BC
that
Vibes.
social media post.
All right.
See you guys.
Awesome.
Right.
Good
Thanks,
seeing
BC.
you. Bye, BC.
All right. Take it easy, buddy.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, James is around. He's just, gimping around
Shelby
with his
Anderson
cane.
ducking in here.
Yeah, he's doing good. He's going to race, actually. Yeah. I know.
You can't hold that guy down.
So I see my Australian friends over there. They're racing, and we got to get them and grab them
we'll
on here every once in a
slide
while.
them in here, yeah, for sure.
Shelby Anderson.
Shelby Anderson.
Happy birthday.
Is it really your birthday today?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, we got the foam flying off the mic there. Just tuck it in there a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Got to cover that thing.
There
you go. So how old are you turning?
20.
20.
The big 2-0.
But not the 2-1 yet.
Not the 2-1
We still have another year of innocence.
Yeah.
Hey, am I bad?
I'll tell you what, when
you
Shelby
see me all the time.
when Shelby Anderson turns 21, I don't want to be anywhere. I want to be like a state away from you.
Yeah.
Do you know my cousin, RJ Anderson?
I know your cousin too well. That's the problem.
Yeah.
RJ is trouble. He's like, he gets in a mood, and it's like, I think I need to duck out of the bar about 10:30. You know?
Yeah,
like,
just don't wear your shirts that have sleeves around him.
No.
When they get in that zone.
And then it's funny because he always has an obligation at like 7:30 in the morning, and it's like he knows it's coming, and like he's like a zombie the next
No,
morning.
he just
It's
doesn't
like,
sleep.
he does it.
He just doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
He's done it a couple times. I'm like, dude, you're so gnarly. But
Just seeing Kristen Matlock over there.
Yeah.
I love her. She's my hero.
yeah, I'm definitely going to have to talk to her about my first
There
desert
you
race.
go.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
got to get some
She has all the
tips. Yeah.
Did you see her
Yeah.
post recently about like just what you use out there? Like my first ever race in the King of the Hammers. I was like,
We'll
I
grab
don't know
Kristen
what
right
do
now.
I do
Let's
for.
grab
Yeah.
Kristen.
Yeah, here,
we'll
Kristen,
grab
get
Kristen.
on here.
Yeah, we're gonna grab Kristen Matlock here. Yeah, we're micing
Oh,
you up.
it's
You can't
fine.
hang out here and not get mic'd up. All right.
It's perfect
All right,
having
we got
you right
Kristen
now.
Matlock. Yeah, we got Shelby Anderson sitting down. Her first desert race.
Yep.
We got Kristen Matlock. I guess as far as ladies in the desert go, you're kind of the setting
She's
the bar
it.
there. You are it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's
you're
everything going?
definitely the first person I was going to go to.
I was actually trying to find you.
Yeah.
Because George Felix told me you're here and that we needed to talk.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely need help for my first one. So
Aw.
It's cool. It's Kristen, she's paved the way for the females in desert racing. It's awesome to see. I absolutely love you. You're my hero, and it's so cool to see Shelby. She's jumping in the same shoes, and hopefully, you can give her some guidance, and even just the littlest things, you don't realize it, but being a female, things are a little bit more difficult, like just the thing, like how do you go to the restroom? Like, I just pee my pants. I'm just going to be honest. I've done it twice now. So, and my co-driver's like, really, Sarah? And I'm like, I can't get out of the car when we finish because I'm like, I don't want people to see this. But it's what happens, and you don't really know what to do, and you don't know what works. So
That's
you do.
it was actually the Mint 400 that I decided I have to find something because I didn't want to pee my pants.
yeah.
So I Googled it all the way home and found She Pee. That's what I use. It was made for female divers in their dry suits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, that could probably work. So I tried it, and sure enough, it works. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So She Pee.
Take notes.
We had this
Take
big, long conversation with Jolene
Yep.
before the Mint when she's going to get in. Should I pee? I'm like, well, I wear a catheter. And she looks at me like, well, that's not going to help me.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, just pee yourself, Joe. And she's like, and I'm like,
I tried the
maybe
whole diaper.
depends,
I
yeah.
tried that, and that doesn't work out very
Then
well.
you just like kind of sit in it.
Well, yeah, and I tried it at the Baja 500 where I was sweating my you-know-what off, and they just soak up your sweat.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is
Baja last year
gross.
was brutally hot, too. It was
Oh,
so
it
bad.
was 125 on the lake bed.
Yeah,
down
Oh,
there.
geez.
so bad.
Yeah.
So Shelby, how are you feeling going into your first desert race? Like, what are your pros and cons? Most nervous about? Most confident about?
I'm pretty excited, I think, for the most part, but the parts I'm nervous about is probably finishing, I guess. I really, really, really want to finish, and I'm kind of just going to approach it like a works race, but I need to be more cautious because it's so much longer.
Yeah.
And so, but I think I'm the most excited because I kind of have the works experience and a lot of the coming from short course growing up, it was a big jump to try and, because I know, coming from short course, it's a lot different than doing any kind of desert stuff. So I kind of just learned through works to be easy on my car and be patient and not to take chances like the first half.
Yep.
And unless I had to, and then I would really start pushing it. But just preserving the car, I think, is what I'm best at. So that's what I'm going to work on.
Well, it's like I told Jolene, too, every time, even at the Mint when we took off, she's like, you can go faster than this. And I'm like, well, we can go faster. But I said, it's, 400-mile race. I said, sometimes 80% is all you need to do.
Right,
you know,
right.
you don't need to run 100 if you don't need to run 100%. You can run 80 and still win races, you know. And
Even 50%.
Yeah, you know, I said
like, you know.
It's like I told her, I said it's finding that fine line, you know,
Yep.
but save the car because at the end you may need to push it and you want to have it left. But I said don't use up all the car in the first lap because, you know,
Right.
you're just done.
Exactly. That's what I always do. I always just take it easy. You know, a lot of these guys get worked up at the start, and I just try to remain calm and take it 1 mile at a time and just pick them off.
Yeah. No race is won in the first laps.
Yeah.
Like, I can promise you that. And I think that's one thing, like, too, that I've realized with women. Like, that's why in the Rally Yesterday Gazelle we do is Dead Reckoning, and it's usually just the women. They tried having the men, but female have more of a calmness about us. We can calculate things more, and we can pursue the plan.
Right.
I think a little bit better than a man can because they get so much testosterone, and then they get in it, and they're like, wait, they're passing me, and I'm going to pass them and race them. And that's what I think one thing is really cool about the females is that you kind of can be more collected.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
agree.
Yep.
So
The patience level, I feel like, is more. Even though I don't have very much patience, it's more than most of the guys that I know that race. So.
yeah. We were talking about that Terracross crash with Danielle the other day.
Oh, man.
And we were trying to explain it to someone who's never, like, seen it side-by-sides. And we're like, so, like, it was the most beautiful crash you would ever see. Like, one pirouetted this way, one pirouetted this way. And they were racing each other in practice. And they were like, wait, are you supposed to do that? We're like, no, they just got excited. They're friends. And they just wanted to hang out with each other in the air.
Exactly.
That's what we got to do. We got to get Kristen in the mix in Terracross.
I know.
Yeah, it looks like fun. I've seen it a couple times at it's not Del Mar Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Is it still? Okay. Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. I saw someone do a front flip.
Oh,
That
it
was
might have
me,
been
yeah.
Jim.
That was me.
That was pretty awesome.
Came up short on the
then
double. And
you kept going, right? After or no?
I tried to go.
Okay.
We went
Oh,
about
that was
5 feet.
Danielle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Danielle
yeah,
flipped and
she
then kept
did.
going. Yeah.
So there's been a couple of them.
Yeah,
there's
there's
been-
tons.
Yeah.
of them. Yeah, when are we going to see you in short course or anything other than desert?
I don't know. I'm just such a desert girl. I like long
Yeah.
distance, and
Yeah.
maybe someday we'll try it.
Yeah.
I'm just not set up for it. I have this big 4-seat car, and
Yeah.
don't really have the car to get out there and do the short course in.
It's really cool, though. It's awesome seeing you and your husband. Like, it's a family effort. And then also seeing you bring out the family. Like, I seen your mom with the kids. And
Yeah, she's right here, and his mom's right there, and there's my son.
Aw.
Yep. Our 7-year-old and our 5-year-old are both racing the kids race in the,
No,
the 170s.
the
yeah.
whole family.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. That's what it's about these days.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes you get caught up in the racing and people forget, like, you know, we actually grew up in the desert and this is what we love. And then you bring the kids into it. And it's like, I think more people will come to, like, my little nephew's about to start racing in a Polaris 170. And so I think more people will show up to his race than my race.
Right.
Because it's like, it's way more exciting watching him.
They are just so adorable out there.
Yeah.
So where do you start, Shelby? Where do both of you start?
I start 9th. I pulled a 2 from
Yeah.
the pick, and so the top 7 were from the mint, so I start 9th.
Yeah, I
Is
start
that in the short
14th, so I
course?
think I'm in the first like the group off in the desert race, right?
Yeah, if
You're in
you
the
are.
desert.
Yeah,
You're
I'm in the
desert, okay.
1000, so we're behind all the turbos
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff.
okay,
so,
gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what I'm in your class too, and I drew first. So not that it really matters because it's a mass start, and
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are on the line. Is it 10?
I think it's 10
go at
per
a time.
I think it's 10 is
It's
what
dead
I was.
engine start.
Yeah.
Dead engine.
Who was it? Mitch Guthrie. His car didn't want to start the other day when he came up and talked to us in the pits, and I was like, ooh, I
That's
don't
a-
know if that's good.
That's I was trying to. I've been working on those. I'm like, all right, is there a way we can figure out how to get this thing to start in high?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm working on the neutral drops where you get to start and go from neutral to high, and it's like,
You know who needs to get in this this sport? It's just like on the dirt bikes when we did enduro cross. They had recluse clutches.
Okay.
It's the same thing. They need to do something like that, bypass that. Oh, so
Yeah.
cute. I had to take a picture.
Oh.
But so your 20th birthday and your first desert race.
Yeah. Yep.
Smile.
So then, what are you most nervous about? Like, this is a new car. You're not used to driving other people's cars, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think driving someone else's car is probably one of the biggest factors because obviously you're going to treat a different car, like a car that's not yours, different than your own. So that, and I think one of my biggest concerns, and Cody Bradbury is the one who's co-driving with me.
Oh.
And so he's got a lot of desert experience from the past, and he's really, really knowledgeable in a razor. So I was like, all right, you're perfect. You want to ride with me? And he's like, yeah, I get to sight lap the track for the short course, so I'm in.
He's like, absolutely.
And I was talking to him about it, and I said the thing that I was concerned about the most was the dust. Mm-hmm. The dust is probably going to be like.
Do you have an amber face shield?
Mm-mm. I have a clear one, and
go buy one. Seriously, it'll help cut through the dust. I don't know. Do you run an amber shield?
I run clear, but it's all personal preference.
Yeah.
If they made blue, because I used to race in blue goggles as a quad girl, and if they made blue, I would love that. I just like the color of it. But it's all personal preference for sure. But I ran amber at the Mint last year, and the sun shining into the amber was too much. I had to crack it to see through it. So I don't know.
I always run clear.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel normal. You know, you don't have tint available for your daily life. So
exactly.
I feel like clear, you can always kind of like project what's going to be looking,
right.
You know.
Yeah, a couple of people have told me amber, and a couple of people are like, well, it's just kind of whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I know race desert.
I guess you just got to practice.
See, I even run amber at night, so I'm like, yeah, so I'm so used to it. But
yeah.
That would help at nighttime, I think. Make everything brighter
a little bit. It does brighten things up a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exciting, though. I'm so cool. Like, there's so much girl power out here. Like, you two are going to be the ones to watch out there. That's for sure.
It's cool because when I was growing up, and I know you can probably relate to this from moto and you probably from quads, but there was no girls when I grew up racing. None.
Yeah.
And so I was the only girl, and everybody was kind of like, oh, like, oh, there's a girl.
What are you doing?
Whatever.
Here? Yeah.
And most of them were like, oh, yeah, we don't have to worry about her. Right. Until we raced, and then they were like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
And that's all coming up, and we're like showing that girls are capable of winning. Like, obviously, Kristen, you know?
Terracross.
Terracross.
Oh, so you threw the gauntlet down last year because Joe was. It was her. Joe, he was going to have this deal. Oh, we're going to mix the celebrities and the men, and I'm like, and Shelby's like, she's sitting there under her breath, like, fuck. You know, and I'm like,
well, what about the girls?
Yeah, and I'm like, Joe, put the girls in with the guys, and Shelby stands up, she's like, yeah, let's, you know, and Joe's like, all right, and then immediately you guys went out and it was like, you shut everybody up, you know, it was
two
like
girls on the podium.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those boys probably weren't very happy. I think Dana was in between us. I won. Dana got second. You got third. And then he was like, this is a great podium to be on.
Dana.
That was Creech.
Yeah, Dana Creech.
He's nuts.
He's been around from the very beginning and all this, too. So it's you know, it's kind of fun to see, the hardcore old school people, from 05 when the Rhino came out to, James chopped his, to 2 feet off the ground, I feel like. I was like, well, how do you even drive that? And he was like, it was cool. It was lowered.
Yeah. TBT'd when we raced at Saboba.
Yeah.
Places like that at Elsinore before there was the MX track. And
the longest
Paris.
jump.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So much reminiscing. It's crazy how the Polarises and all the cars have evolved. Yeah. We have one of the first Polarises in our garage. And I took a picture of them because I had my car, my work car next to it, and the Polaris. And it's like, whoa, just looking at them, how did they even come from that to that? And it's just insane.
Well, they stemmed from a farm vehicle, basically utility vehicle that helped people around a warehouse pretty much.
Totally.
And so it's nuts.
It was the funniest thing. We were at Yosemite. We were camping with our razors and stuff. We went out there. And we parked next to a couple, an older couple that had an 800.
Oh.
And my 4-year-old at the time looked down at him. He was laughing hysterically, and he's like, those people are in a kid's UTV, or a kid's razor. Because it was, they're so used to looking at our thousands and turbos and stuff. It is funny how much they've evolved over the years. But it was just funny that he was dying laughing. I'm like, no, it's an adult one.
Yeah. They're getting bigger and bigger. I'm looking at this one right in front of me, and they're like limos.
Yeah, they're closer to class 10s now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what we say all the time. We're they're mini class 10 cars, honestly.
Yeah, because I think the 1000, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was only one that beat, or maybe not even any class 10s. But basically, I think San Felipe was the same way. I think Wayne beat everybody but one class 10.
Really?
Yeah, in San Felipe. So.
Man, that class has to start kind of be deteriorating then, because you have the UTV market that's so accessible,
right?
And so that class, is there even any people in that because of the UTVs?
There's a lot of class 10s, but the RZRs and all the other UTVs are the way to go nowadays because you
Yeah.
can get factory sponsorships.
Yeah.
In Class 10s, you're on your own.
Yeah, and even anyone going out there and just buying one, you can just put a payment plan down, $300 a month, and you have a full-on something to go play with, go have a good time with, you know.
Exactly.
Right.
It's awesome. But what's your dad think of all this?
Oh, you know Hot Rod. He's,
I love Rod.
He's just so fired up, just as always. No, I think he's really excited because
We got Seth Quintero dropping Easter eggs.
You're going to be
on
an Easter egg hunt. Uh-oh.
What time is it? Is it almost time?
When does the Easter egg hunt start?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Oh, I think we're going to be in the mix in this, Sarah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're
2 o'clock.
Oh, it's coming up.
They're going everywhere.
We're doing everything out of the UTV World Championship.
That's awesome. The Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, Hot Rod's just... I think he's excited and he's nervous because he's sending me out just to the desert.
Yeah.
Can't really do anything. Like in Works, the longest track's like 11 or 12 miles, you know, so it's easy to go find them. And the loops are so short compared to this that I think he's just going to be pacing. Like, you guys know my
he's gonna
dad,
be nervous.
but my dad is Hot Rod for a reason, you know?
Really?
Like Terracross, he gets so fired up. I love it. He's like, when you got your first win, like I was like worried. I'm like, man, is he gonna have a heart attack?
Yeah.
Like, it was I've
he
never
like comes
seen
up to me, hugs me. I'm like, what happened?
He's high-fiving. Yeah. He's high-fiving everybody, and it was the coolest thing. And I wasn't there when you won the championship, but I got to figure he had to have been just nuts.
Oh, yeah.
If you have any questions, you go to Hot Rod. He's educated. He knows what's going on.
But and that's what's cool about it, too, is that he's invested in it just as much as I am because he grew up doing it with Walker and Ivan and everybody. And so he loves it, and I think that's what makes it 10 times more fun is it's not just me, it's him too and my whole family.
It's like
so
he's
it's cool.
reliving like vicariously through you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my mom says all the time. She goes, he's just living his life through you. And I'm like, well, Mom, I love it. I'm his kid. Like
You're like, that's cool.
I'm his,
And that's awesome that like you appreciate that because a lot of kids are like, oh, it's my dad, you know. And it's like, nah, it shouldn't be that way. Like he has a big part of this, you know. And so I think you're gonna do great. And the coolest thing is that you have a great co-driver. On top of that, you're mechanically, you know what you're doing. Like mechanically, you can tear that car down. You can fix anything that comes your way, and I think that's a big part of it. Like Kristen, like I'm sure you've come into scenarios big time where you had to do the same thing. And
yeah, well, the San Felipe 250 2 weeks ago, I broke my whole car in two.
Oh,
so,
Jesus!
Yeah, we were stuck in the middle of the desert for a little bit, but we were able to get it fixed. We welded on it for like 2.5 hours and got back out there. But
so can you weld?
I cannot weld, but I think I might have been able to do as good a job as they did. It was awesome. They had, what was it, one of the poles from the jack?
Loaders?
No, they took the jack pole and welded it to my car. They cut off a piece of the tubing from our chase rack and welded it on my car. They had to do anything just to get me to the finish line because I had to go 140 more miles after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
you're
like
in
you
a
were limping
points
to the
chase
finish.
too, probably.
Right, yeah, it was the first race of the season for down there, and I had to finish. So I had to do like 25 miles an hour the whole rest of the way.
A jack handle.
Isn't that awesome?
Like, what even's like, just looking at stuff and you're like, we can use this. Oh, we can cut that off and use, like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, got to do what you got to do.
So is there any bragging rights at home, like between you and Wayne when, at the end of a race?
Yeah, I mean,
I would be.
I haven't beat him, like, without him breaking. So when that happens,
it's on
it's
there.
going to be a whole conversation.
That's when he shuts down. No more secrets.
Right.
He's like, hey, you're on your own. Develop your own car.
He won't be training me anymore, I'm pretty sure, after that.
So where are you starting at, Shelby?
I start 9th.
9th. Where are you starting?
I'm first, so I think we'll be on the same line.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang.
same line.
You're first?
Yeah, but it's all, I think there's 10 at a time, so we should be on the same line.
So it's
to
the
start.
same. Yeah, you just
Is
get
it
first
better
pick.
starting at the inside, or do you think it's going to be better starting at the outside? I know in the middle wouldn't be fun.
Right. I don't think there's a turn right off the start, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's pretty much straight, so I don't think it really matters.
It's just like pinches off.
Yeah, just funnels down.
Yeah.
That's kind of sketchy, though, to
It'll be-
me, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm used to the land. I'm not used to dead engine, but I'm used to the land rush starts.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of used to it. But like starting next to desert cars, I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna know like I'm this far or whatever because we're gonna be so close.
Right.
One thing that's good, though, is that you have to start the car, so that'll give a lot of spacing in between, I think, people more than you think.
There'll be some cars that don't start on the first
Exactly.
hit,
So it kind of narrows it out.
That's what I'm nervous about,
Did you
too.
say kick?
first hit.
Oh, I think
I didn't say kick.
Yeah, first hit.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, at least we don't have to kickstart them.
Well, it's like with my car. I go and sometimes I can turn the key and boom, it's like right away. And then other times like it cranks 2 or 3 times and then so it's like it's so luck. It's not like you can really. Sure, somebody will have the hot ticket, but it's I don't know.
It is luck.
Yeah,
timing. But no,
I'm probably just gonna let him go because I don't want to get tangled up in the first, funnel.
I might be struggling to like get it off the line just because I don't know about the dead engine start. So I might be just back there and I might just have to. Well, you don't know either because us being on the first row could be an advantage for our class because everybody's going to feel all this pressure on the front row and try and push it super hard to stay in the lead or stay wherever the first couple laps. But
then you have like Mitch Guthrie at the Mint 400. He started first and he led the race. And I feel like, being in the front of a desert race, you kind of can pace the whole race. Like, it's up to you, and that's also a good thing, so you get clear track. Mm-hmm. So it's an advantage if you want to, like, really push it to get up front fast, or like Kristen just said, she's just going to calmly, be in the back and let it kind of come about. But Easter eggs just coming up.
I know. I have Sarah's hiding Easter eggs on Shelby.
I have kids, like, grabbing me, like.
That's just your buddy Seth.
Yeah. But one of the things is, too, like, I wouldn't even have the opportunity without George, Felix, and I'm the first of a new program, and it's the Young Gun program. So I'm the very, very first one, and he's going to go down the line and start getting people who can't do desert in desert cars, and I just think it was really awesome of him for the whole situation and to even just pick me to even think to put me in a car. So when he messaged me at first, because he messaged me on Facebook, and I was like, who's this guy? And he started talking to me. He's like, oh, would you ever want to do a desert race? I'm like, how do you think you do? And I was like, oh, yeah, like, I'd love to. And anything with a race car, like, I'll do. It could be a lawnmower for all I care, And he was like, well, how do you think you do? And I'm like, I feel like I preserve my car too much at works races. So I feel like, I could possibly do it if I had the support for it. And he was like, all right, I'm going to try and figure some stuff out and I'll get back to you. And then he came up with the Young Gun program, and I was like, oh, like 100%, I'm in. And so we've been working together for the past couple months on getting the car ready that we have. And, yeah, it's great. Exciting. I have their whole team behind me, and
what you failed to mention is why he picked you, though, because I'm sure you're just being modest, but he mentioned to me that you have, like, straight A's and you're an excellent student.
Yeah, I'm in college, too. Yeah. I'm a sophomore in college and full-time, so I'm doing the works races, and I'm doing school, and I actually train kids. I train 170 kids.
That's awesome.
Super cool. Yeah, Caden Danbury, he's racing this weekend. Aaron Cuevas, he's racing this weekend. So,
do you get to co-drive with either one of them?
No, I don't think. I can fit in Caden's car, but I think I'd weigh it down too much, which is ironic because it's the complete opposite in my car. But yeah, it's cool.
No, I think that's great though, and it's doing good for the sport. You're setting an example, and he's using you to set an example for a reason. So no pressure or anything, but
yeah. So I'm like, that's why I'm kind of like, I start front row. I have to try and at least do good. And to me, even in the works races, it's harder to keep the time than to make up the time. Yeah. So that's.
But remember, too, it's not always about the results. It's about the effort you put into it and the mark you leave. You're going to do something positive with this, and your other kids are going to look up to you and be like, I want to be in the Young Gun car. Who do you think's next?
I don't really know. He's, asked me about a couple people, and I'm like, I've told him a couple people, and he's like, all right, we need to get more in depth with it and stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. When's the next one? Is it every Best in the Desert race, or how's it work?
I'm not sure what exact races he's planning on doing. I think it's Best in the Desert, but he was talking to me even because he rode with me for the first time yesterday when we were driving it, and he was telling me that he wanted me to possibly drive with him in Vegas to Reno.
Oh, cool.
And so and have 3 or 4 drivers for that. So that would be cool.
That would be really awesome.
Just to run around. So, yeah.
This will be my first Vegas to Reno.
I feel Guthrie breathing down my neck here.
Yeah, we got Mitch Jr. is up next on the show, and he's hanging out. But
is he eating all the kids' candy?
I think so.
I know. I just found out there's candy in these eggs.
Oh, there's a pink one.
Well, I think both of you guys are stopping by. Best of luck tomorrow to both of you. And,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Girl
Yeah.
power.
Thanks. I kind of crashed the party, but
No.
I saw you there. Like, wow, we're throwing you in here.
Yeah, right? We just couldn't help but
All
to
right.
talk about Kristen.
yeah, thank you.
I'm so excited for you girls.
All right, thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
All right. Yeah, we got Mitch Jr. hanging out back there. Kristen Matlock, Shelby Anderson, always fun. Yeah, we got Mitch Jr.
The Mitch got 3.
Yeah.
Well, you found the golden egg? There's a golden egg?
Yeah, we get your
I know where it is.
What happens with the golden egg?
Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
too bad they didn't put the golden egg here. I don't know. Is that like a bonus from Polaris or something?
It's a free razor.
Really?
No.
Speaking of free razors, you and your dad, I've said it multiple times, you guys always decide to win when there's a razor on the line.
So hopefully we're ready for a good weekend then.
Yeah, right? I don't know. You guys, I'm eating Hershey's now. We're raiding the eggs. Poor kids are going to come and get the eggs, and there's going to be nothing left in there.
I
right?
know. Seth gave me like 5 right here, and I'm already down. I got chocolate in this one.
Yeah, that's what I got. I was like, money.
What'd you get over there, Mitch?
A giant bottle of ice water.
No, you got a giant bottle of ice. There's not much water in there. It's like
That's a fancy
solid.
bottle of water.
Try and keep hydrated, guys.
Yeah.
Big day tomorrow.
Yeah, the champion is back.
Yeah.
I'm liking the sound of that.
Yeah, between you and Sims, man, I just like you guys around. We just call you the champ, or it's like I don't know. It's definitely been a good ride for you. I know we were talking, and it's like this new car. It's like I'm looking, and I'm like, all right. Took Guthrie's a year to figure their car out, to really figure it out. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, so we're 1 race down. It's like, all right, so we'll give it a couple of races, but this car now, you're on point, man. You guys 2 for 2. It's got to feel pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's been good. It took us a while. I mean, it was my first year of ever even doing desert racing. So when we had it built, we got a lot of stuff wrong, and just getting the new car blues and bugs worked out. But thankfully, after it took a year, I was hoping it would happen a little sooner, but. It's finally going good, and I have 100% confidence in the car now. So just as long as I don't rip a tire off or something, then I'm feeling pretty good.
It's not on the car; it's on you if something happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, last year too, you were so darn close to having basically a sweep of both races. I mean, and we were calling the desert race, and I mean, I don't want to say had it in the bag, but you were so damn close. And what was it, axles or a belt last year?
Yeah, axles. So it was just one of those things. Like I said, we just didn't really. There's certain things on the car we didn't have figured out, and now we know. And I wish we would have known last year, so we could have done a sweep or something. That would have been really cool. But we got close, and winning one of them is pretty good, so I'll take it. But maybe we could do it this year. Who knows?
I think you can. You can. Hey, so you're switching to the Rhino 2.0 Super ATV axles?
Yeah, been running them for a little bit now.
Yeah, you're running your King of the Hammers car in the short course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those new 2.0s we ran at King of the Hammers, and I actually ran them at the Mint. They made me a set of long travel ones, and they were awesome.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do they do custom sizes?
Yeah, well, for me right now, but they're working on doing every single type. But right now they have the stock length for a razor, which is what everyone really wants, and then they're kind of branching out from there. So they're getting them built and putting them out there.
One thing I do have to say, Super ATV's on it. They're always awesome. Yeah. And, dude, it's easy. It's just easy dealing with them. It's easy working with them. Their product's good. It's it doesn't get much better than that. And that wins me over. I know that.
Yeah, I think people are starting to catch on. I think they're getting a lot more people hitting them up for axles and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've gotten pretty large recently. The last 3 years, they really just blew up.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see you guys running their stuff. And, you guys are your dad especially, if he's running those at King of the Hammers, that stuff's good because that's the king right there.
Only senior approved. Yeah. Mitch senior approved means it's pretty good.
The king. I'm going to make him stickers. I need to just get him a crown.
Good old 6-time.
Yeah, how fun was that at Hammers this year? Because I know you guys are good family friends with the Campbells, and Shannon and the whole family is they're rock solid people. And your dad and Shannon, they had to have a little bit of fun racing against each other. There had to have been some bragging rights there, right?
Yeah, like we say every year with King of the Hammers, we were racing with Blake 2 years ago, and we're flipping each other off as we're passing them and stuff. It was so fun. King of the Hammers is one of those races where it's one of the biggest races of the year. But we're just out there having fun, and especially with the Campbells now, their Polaris is supporting them and everything. It's so fun, and we've known them since I was a little kid. So being out there racing with Waylon and Bailey, it's really cool. It's like a family event.
Yeah. Well, I know talking with Shannon, I don't know, he and I were talking, and it might have been right around the Mint or something like that. It was after King of the Hammers, and he's like, yeah, we don't know. We got all these obligations. We don't know what events we're going to do. They didn't even know what they were going to do with the Razors. And then all of a sudden they show up here, and they got like a fleet of Razors. I'm like, well, you're going UTV racing this year. Now we know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're making the switch, so it's pretty cool to see.
It's a lot cheaper than running those Ultra 4
cars,
too.
No, and I mean, he even said, Shannon was saying that he's got that Ultra 4 car that's so fast and everything, but a Razor is like the next. It's like a mirror image of that, but just in a smaller vehicle. So they just have so much fun and a little more cost effective. So they're liking it for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, it's cool, and seeing them here, they're out racing. I saw a picture, and I was like, oh boy, going to a new form of racing and a car, and they really did though in qualifying at King of the Hammers. I was really impressed because I figured, rock crawlers, they don't get much experience in the short course area of things, and they did really well.
Yeah, they're all awesome drivers.
Shannon and I, a couple years ago at the Mint, he was running like an old Ultra 4 car in Class 1 or something.
Yeah.
And he and I started like side by side, and he had four-wheel drive and I had two-wheel drive. But, dude, it was like he was shot out of a cannon, and I couldn't catch that guy to save my life. I'm like, this is a rock crawler my ass. This guy's just a good off-road driver.
Yeah.
Like, he was just gone. I'm like, man.
Yeah, you can put Shannon in everything, in just about any vehicle, and he's going to drive it probably way too fast than it's supposed to go. Possibly wreck it, but he's going to go fast doing it. So that's how Shannon is. But it's awesome. Now the kids are getting into it, and it's a whole family ordeal.
Too. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I love being around them and stuff. They're just good people. But you, so tomorrow, you're 2 for 2, 2 wins in a row. You're starting on the pole at this one. What's the 10 laps, man? It's tough to string 10 here together perfect,
Yeah, that's
Shelby and Kristen.
No, they're back behind because they're in the
non-aspirated.
They're in the NA cars. So, I think I'm on the front row. I'm the last entry on the front row, I think.
Nice.
So, somehow I drew that. So I'm kind of excited.
That's solid.
Like anywhere on the front row, I'm happy. I don't have to worry about.
Not 50th is pretty good.
So, are you is your strategy going into that first corner going to be just pin it and get out front fast?
That's the way. It's one of those things with that dead engine start. You never know how it's going to go. Like, we did a little practicing with it, but, sometimes you hit it and it takes a little longer, and sometimes people get out in front. So it's one of those things, I'm honestly not really planning on being first one out of the gate, but I hope that I could be, in the mix and then go from there. I don't want to wreck in the first corner.
I actually was talking about how you came up to us at the pit last night in your car. You were in your short course car, but it took a while for it to start. And he goes, man, this is a dead engine start, and it took a second. I was like,
now the short course
good.
one, that one I want a whole shot. The desert race, I got a little bit of time to make some moves, but hey, I'll take a whole shot in both classes. That's prime, but I'm not expecting it. There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's going to be competitive. It's no joke about that.
Yeah. All right. Well.
The Easter Bunny's here.
Yeah, Easter.
I'm going to have to take a video.
Either one of these, buddy.
Is that RJ in there?
I
have a feeling it's RJ. Is it RJ? Hey, but guess what? I found the golden egg, but I'm not going to show it, guys.
Uh-oh. We got Ivan Stewart taking selfies with the Easter Bunny. This doesn't happen very often.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got Scott with GMZ race wheels and Ivan Stewart. Ivan's selfies with the Easter Bunny. That doesn't happen often, man.
Oh, that's great. That is so awesome. That is really cool. Hi, Ivan. Sara, nice to meet you. Sara.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you know this guy? Yeah.
Well, I know Jim from a long time now.
Yeah, we've known
just
each other.
through the grapevine of racing and running into him here and there and everywhere and racing with him.
Yeah, we'll get you mic'd up here.
Are you working together?
Yeah. We're working together here. Yeah, there we go. We got Ivan Stewart on the mic. We got Scott with GMZ. Yeah, Sarah and I, we've known each other for quite a while. She races UTVs. She's won a lot of races, and she actually went and you did one of Robbie Gordon's Stadium Super Trucks. She raced Stadium Super Trucks. First
did
lady,
you really? Wow.
First lady to ever race Stadium trucks. So
you been one of them on the asphalt and the steel jumps? What'd you think? Pretty fast, huh?
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. My first race was in Toronto last July, and I actually ended up bleeding a few races. And,
did you really?
Yeah, then after that, I got signed for the rest of the year, and so that was great, and it was a great experience and a lot of fun.
Do you race against my friend Shelby Anderson? Do you know Shelby?
I do. Yeah, at Terracross, we race against each other plenty of times, and a few other races we have. I love Shelby.
I do an event every year for Toyota, an event called Stagecoach in Palm Desert.
Yeah.
And we give people rides in Toyota vehicles and spin around, do Brodies and stuff, And she came and did it last year. She loved it, and she was really good at it,
She's coming back this year, too,
yeah,
right?
coming back this year, yeah.
Nice. Exciting.
About 2 weeks, we'll be back in Palm Springs doing that one.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, but I actually met you at Milestone a few years ago when we were having Surfer Cross, and I come from motocross, but you and Andy Bell were having...
Oh, yeah, that was just before the Baja 1000.
Yep.
I remember that, right?
Yeah, so I had met you over there, but... Yeah, I was on dirt bike at that time, so a little confusing.
This is a little better. You get a cage around you.
Yeah, a little safer, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, speaking of cages, I know we've seen you out here at the UTV Worlds, I don't know, a couple years now in a row. I mean, you're pretty knee-deep in the UTV space.
Well, I see so much potential.
Greg's got amazing business around the sport.
Yeah, but it's a great way to. I mean, it's a great family-oriented form of motorsports, and I get addicted to it and come back. Now back with GMZ and having fun with those guys and building tires and developing tires and all that stuff.
Yeah, and you guys got a brand new one. We got Scott with GMZ race wheels here, and
how you doing,
and
Jim?
tires.
I haven't seen you since January.
Yeah, I know it's been a while, but you guys
Hi,
are.
Sarah. Nice to meet
Scott,
you.
You guys
GMZ,
are
nice to meet
debuting a brand new 32-inch Walker Evans tire, or not Walker Evans. Sorry, Ivan Stewart tire.
Right.
No, Walker's got. We just had Shelby Anderson here, so I'm thinking Walker Evans, and now we got Ivan Stewart stuff.
We'll forgive you.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about icons in the sport,
Yeah,
man, so it's all good. It's all good. I mean, but yeah, last year we came out with a new 30-inch Ivan Stewart edition tire by GMZ. Ivan's been helping us with the tread design and developing the tire, and like most things in this sport, the wheels and tires, they're getting bigger and better and faster and all that. So you got to keep developing, coming up with new products. And 32-inch, little taller tire, and they changed the rule last year. So now you got to have a little bigger tire, and we're planning on going back and filling in a couple other sizes in the Ivan Stewart design. We're going to do a 28-14 and probably a 30-14. Most of the stuff we have now is for a 15-inch wheel, but we have about 17 or 18 guys racing on our wheels and tires this weekend, and we're just really stoked that Ivan was able to make it out here again and help us promote the design that we came up with together.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what's funny about this, Ivan, and I think you probably get a chuckle out of it too. My dad, he raced Class 8 in the 70s, and he goes, he's like, UTVs now are running 32-inch tires. He says, in our Class 8s, there was a time when we were running 33s. He goes, he's like, your tires are on a UTV are almost as big as our old Class 8 tires.
You're right. When you think about that, we started with 33s, wasn't it? Yeah, and a big Class 8 truck, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, in these UTVs, weight and at your tires and wheels is everything. So what is your theory on that? When you're going to a 30 and a 32, sometimes you're taking away that sidewall to compensate for the weight. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, if you're a driver and you have a good feel for the whole thing to me is how you feel in the vehicle, and if tire to weight ratio is not right, and you don't have the shock set up right, then it's not going to be comfortable. But it's going to be all in the wheel, of the steering wheel and the seat of your pants, and everything. It's just hard to explain if you haven't been there. But once you get the feel for what feels good, then you're home free.
Yep.
Because I did a tremendous amount of tire testing for other major manufacturers. And I tell you what, it's when you have a good feeling tire and the tire pressure is right and it feels good, you got something. But when it's off a little bit, then you're off. And I don't care if it's what diameter of the tire, whatever it is. But if you don't have the springs and the sway bars and the shocks all dialed in, then it's not going to feel good. But that's something you have to learn, and that takes a long time to feel.
Yeah.
As you know, I mean, as you're getting there, when it doesn't feel good, you may not know why, but it doesn't feel good because maybe it's the, it's the weight ratio between the unsprung and sprung weight.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know that, but it's kind of hard to explain. But once you have a feeling for it, then it's,
Wow, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
It's cool hearing knowledge from you. You're a legend in this sport, and it's kind of like I'm sitting here in awe. Like anything you say, I'm absorbing. I'm like a sponge over here. But so when you go to set your tire pressure, like I know I have a key tire pressure I use on certain things, and I kind of have my go-to pressure. So on a hot day like this, on a track like today at Laughlin, what would you do for the short course? What would you kind of go to set your tire pressure?
Well, so many times when I was driving for Toyota, especially, and before that it was completely different. But the engineers would typically set the tire pressure, and I would go out and drive them and tell them that for this particular track, either a couple things are going to happen. It doesn't feel good for some reason. It feels too harsh, and typically that was the problem because they'd want to jack the tire pressure up, to keep it from bending the wheels.
Yeah.
But if it got too harsh, and you get so much feedback through the steering wheel.
Yeah, it's just bouncing.
And it's bouncing. It doesn't feel good through the seat. And I had so much time in race cars, and especially the Toyota when we raced in the desert, that I can tell you it didn't feel good. We got the tire pressure down. It's just too harsh.
Yeah.
And then it's harsh on everything. Then you got U-joints and CV joints and rod ends and all these things are taking a beating. So whenever you get the balance right between the tire pressure, the sprung, the unsprung weight, and it feels good to the driver, that's what it's all about.
Yep. It's comfort and being confident in your vehicle. It's everything. That's the key.
And then it makes you go faster because you've got all the confidence. But one of the biggest things, too, and that's what we've talked about in the past, is developing the tires. The other is, as much as anything, you don't want to go flat.
Yeah.
You got to have a durable tire. I mean, you can have one that works fantastic.
Yeah, and we've been telling our guys that have been coming through contingency all day. I mean, you got to finish to win, and so. Flat tires is not a good thing, or any issue with the car. Any mechanical issue with the car is not a good thing. But as far as touch on the tire pressure, I mean, it really depends on the track and the application. If the track's really rocky and really rough, and you're worried about having flats or issues with tires, you generally want to run a little higher tire pressure.
Yeah.
If it's sandy and loamy and you can spin it, you need more traction to get through the soft stuff. You can run lower tire pressure and not have any issues. Typically at this racetrack the last couple years, it's been pretty tough on wheels and tires in general. We've talked a lot about with all of our racers this weekend, especially the short course guys. They're racing after the 200 plus cars in the desert for the desert race early in the morning.
Yeah.
So the short course cars that aren't necessarily built for a really rough racetrack are going to see the absolute roughest track they've seen because it's going to be all rutted out and tore up from the first group.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see people run a little higher tire pressure just for insurance. If they're not running any type of tire blocks, tire slime, or anything like that, or any sealer, that's kind of our recommendation to our drivers. But you don't really know until you get out there and you see what the track's like, and the engineers and the team managers, the crew, they're kind of just have to make that decision. We are in Laughlin. You roll the dice and go for it.
Yeah.
What is the tire pressure? I don't know what you guys. I haven't been around this course in so long. I mean, what you run 30.
Well,
30,
it's all top secret.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, so I can't really say. But no, I mean, anywhere from about 16 to 25.
Okay.
Oh, really? That's lower than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would run on the higher side just because, like I said, it's insurance. If you're running tire blocks or some of these other systems in the tires where you're not as worried to take a chance, you can go lower on tire pressure. The ride of the car and the vehicle is going to be much better, but you also then stand a chance for more issues, with tire failure, wheel failure, or whatever, depending, and then it comes down to the driver. And Jim knows this, and Ivan, of course, is you got to steer around the rocks as best you can.
Yeah.
But of course, if you're trying to pass somebody or it's dusty and you can't see, I mean, it just is what it is. You do the best job you can, and hopefully, our drivers can do that this weekend.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So I did King of the Hammers, and we ran these inner bead locks, and what it was is an inner tube on the inner chamber, and basically I ran that at 50 psi, and I'd run my 50 in the inner chamber. So what it
okay, in the inner chamber.
Yeah,
okay.
so it's about 4 inches tall, and so it'd protect the wheel. But then I'd run the tire at 8.
Yeah.
8, really that low?
And
wow.
I did a
Okay.
whole desert section and the rock section, but that inner tube would save it, so it wouldn't damage the wheel, and then I get full traction on the rocks.
What system was it? Which brand?
It was called
it?
Coyote and Tees.
Okay.
And they're pretty new to the market, but they I've used them every year at King of the Hammers. Never had one tire failure.
Awesome.
I've had it to where my inner liner pops, but then that just fills the tire up with air. But then you have one wheel off, but it's still better than a flat.
Right.
So it's a pretty cool system, but I've played a lot with it, with that especially, because then you don't have to worry about the flat, and it's been quite cool. But
yeah. I mean, my opinion on that is, like tire ball, tire block, some of our customers do run that. They suggest not much air pressure, in the tire. And we suggest that, as GMZ, as a tire manufacturer, even if you're running an inner liner or whatever, we suggest at least running, close to a normal pressure. And that's because, it protects the wheel. It does, it's easier on the tire. Even though you do have an inner system, you still need to run close to normal running pressure. Otherwise, you just same thing. You stand more chance of a flat or failure on that stuff. So.
And that tire is probably made to run a certain pressure as well, so
Exactly.
it won't work the way that it's designed if you aren't running the correct pressures.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly right. But all that stuff in tow. I mean, this whole event's been great. Of course, this is the third running of it, and it's growing each year. I mean, the amount of racers we have here is unbelievable. Jim, you're racing, right? Or
we got the Star Car over there, and Jolene Van Butte and I are racing. We got Alyssa Ronick with ESPN. She's gonna ride a couple laps with me.
Awesome, man.
I saw my buddy Larry Ragland.
Yeah,
over here. Is he Larry running too?
Yeah, I think Chad told me Larry's in something. They've got a couple of race cars now.
I saw Rob McCachran too. Is he racing?
I know. I talked to Rob on the radio show about a month ago, and he told me that because he won a RZR from winning the Min overall, and he said he was really seriously looking at building a desert RZR because he wants to go racing out here at some of these events. So to me that's tremendous. So we've got guys like you who's an icon. You're involved in the UTV industry. You got McCachran and Ragland. And, that's some big name guys.
Walker Evans.
Big
time. Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable to see names like that coming in. I know Shannon Campbell now all of a sudden. He's
right here.
Yeah, right here.
He just walked off.
Yeah, but it's in the rock circles, it's pretty crazy.
Well, you can. That's why I say it was fantastic. You can buy a unit and put it on the layaway plan or on the time payments, and it's under warranty. And go racing, buy you a good set of tires, and you can be competitive. There's nothing like it. I don't know any of the former racing where you can do that. To be honest.
No, and I mean the sport in general, and just the UTV market. I mean, it has not peaked. I mean, that stuff's still growing. It's crazy, and I think you see that with the results they're getting here at an event like this. Mad Media and UTV Underground do a great job with this place, and they've helped grow the sport, and we all keep coming back because it's a prestigious race and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's got so much potential. You go into the Midwest even.
Yep.
I mean, where do you stop? Internationally even. I mean,
I know Dubai, it's blowing up over there in the Middle East.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
It's
With
UAE,
really?
You've got all those sand dunes and everything. And it's a big market.
I can see, world championships, it could be in Dubai or they could be anywhere in the world because, and I love that about off-road racing because you don't need a racetrack.
Yeah, we raced side-by-side in Africa. Put it that way, through Morocco and the Sahara Desert, and then racing in Australia. I raced in a side-by-side short course, and they have the Fink over there, so it's growing. It's large. Worldwide.
It's like you say, it's just the tip of the iceberg, I believe. A lot of potential.
I know even my dad, we've got a pre-runner sitting in the shop, and he raced Class 8 trucks and everything else, and we got the RZRs there, and he'd almost rather go out in the RZR than the pre-runner because it's a whole lot cheaper for him to go run around in the RZR,
Yeah.
And so the poor pre-runner's sitting there collecting dust,
Well, two-seat buggies and stuff are kind of a thing of the past. I mean, they're just don't. Why would you buy but RZRs are expensive. But I mean, once you've got one, lasted for years.
But you can
know?
finance them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
nice.
Yeah,
Anyone
yeah,
can
yeah.
almost afford it because of that.
Absolutely.
And you go to
True.
Glamis now, and you have these people who had these expensive buggies and all these things, and all their friends have razors now. So, let's go buy a razor. It's more
Yeah.
fun just to hang out with them anyways. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And anytime you can get people into the sport and you can finance or you can afford it, it just grows the sport that much faster. I mean, it's just a great option for us and for as a company that builds aftermarket parts for these vehicles. It's huge. It drives the whole sport. Polaris has done a great job. All the manufacturers do a great job, and they've really set something up that's just going to be successful. So,
It is.
Yeah.
So
really cool.
I got a question. What do you want to do? What's your long-term goals?
My long-term goals.
Well, the problem here
Not
is
getting married and have kids.
no. The problem is she's got this massive announcement that she can't do on air. But I'm sure as soon as we step off air, she would love to pick your brain.
I would
Okay.
seriously love to talk to you in a second.
Yeah,
But
I will give you permission as
Yeah.
soon as we duck out here. You can talk with Ivan because
My
she's got a
dream-
massive announcement
For
that just
sure.
happened. So.
my dream's about to come true this next month, so I'm very thankful for it. And yes, I will share with you after I get off air. But
All right,
it's not
cool.
really confidential, but I'm just keeping it confidential because I just want to focus on it and make sure that I embrace it all and do
Yeah.
everything as properly as I can. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Good
cool.
for you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
How about you, Ivan? I mean,
Yeah.
before we go to quick break here, how's everything with you? What's keeping you busy?
Well, I'm so fortunate over the years that I've been able to make my living at off-road racing, and then not only off-road racing, but all the friends and people that I've met and going different places and traveling. I've got a chance to go to China and race one time, and
Wow.
but right now I ride my motorcycle quite a bit. I have a street bike, a
Yes.
big BMW that I run on the street, and work with Dan Matar on our Polaris store in San Diego on Claremont Mesa Boulevard. By the way, we got to open a new store down there a couple of years ago. Working with GMZ, and I still have a long-term contract, 34 years with Toyota. So I still do a lot of different projects with them, and spend time at my house in Mexico. I bought a house down there a few years ago. So travel. My wife and I like to travel, and so I always got something to do. My motto is, if it's not fun, I don't go, though.
All about the fun.
That's
cool
why I
to
knew
hear.
this was going to be fun, because I'm not going to come if it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, that's what that would twist his arm.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to come to Laughlin? Come on, man.
Yeah, right, yeah.
We'll,
So
we'll
if
build a new tire if you come out.
If it's going to be fun, count me in.
Toyota's a great company, and actually my navigator for anything that I need a navigator for is Erica Sachs, and she's a navigator for Brett Lee, who drives for your company down there, Ivan Stewart Motorsports. So
Oh, really?
it's kind of
Oh, okay.
connected in a way, so it's pretty cool. But
Small world.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it is really a small world.
But-
The off-road racing. I was just talking to Lou Peralta, who I've known for, Lou.
Years,
Lou.
yeah.
I'm sure for 40. I say 40, probably more than that. 50 years or so. I've known him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
you develop some long-term friends here, and I've got great friends, and my stories. I was talking to Lou about it. I wouldn't trade my stories and the people I've met and Baja and things I've done and got to do for nothing. So I'm doing fine. No
That's
complaints
awesome.
whatsoever.
All right, well,
That's
we
great.
appreciate
That's
you guys
so cool.
stopping by. And quick before we go, the
Yep.
32-inch Ivan Stewart edition,
Yep.
when is that available to the public?
Brand new. We started selling them last week. We've sold out of the first round. We got more here, and about 4 or 5 drivers racing on them this weekend. You got Jacob Shaw. You got Dean Horn's car out there. You got Boomer Wheeler. We got a few guys on the new 32, and then a whole lot of good friends that drove all the way out here from North Carolina. I want to throw a shout out to the Ignite crew. We got Yamahas on the 30-inch Ivan tire all the way from North Carolina. I mean, we got people here from all over, and that's why they call it the World Championships. It's awesome.
That's super cool.
So-
That's awesome.
Thanks you guys for stopping by, and
Yeah.
we'll see you. Talk soon.
All right.
Thanks for having
Chief.
me.
The Iron
Thanks,
Man
Jim.
himself.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to take a real quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have Jolene Van Butte and Alyssa Ronick with ESPN. So all that coming up here after the break.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at ImpactRaceProducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, live from the 2017 Polaris RZR Mint 400. Just got done. I don't know. We were supposed to take a break like an hour ago, Price, and we just kept rolling with things. And
I was wondering if we were supposed to take a break.
Yeah, we're eating candy on air and, I don't know, having a good time. I love being out at events and getting to talk with great people like Alyssa Ronick.
Alyssa.
Hi, guys.
The girl that writes all of the awesomeness on ESPN.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah.
She's an amazing writer.
I think we met, I don't know, was it maybe 5 years ago back? GRC. I think
back
you were
in
doing
the
like,
GRC
yeah, you were
days.
doing pit reporting. I was doing some live MCing and yeah,
those
you
were fun.
helped me out
those
with some
were
notes.
Fun years.
That was a ton of fun.
And now she's going to add professional UTV co-driver
Absolutely.
to her list of
Build that
accomplishments
resume
this
up,
weekend with Jolene.
Trying to build my riding resume to
well, you've
match
driven
the
too,
riding
though.
resume.
Yeah, I mean, you're no stranger to off-road cars. You went to Gazelles.
I did go to
Yeah,
the Gazelle.
how was that? You and Chrissy, I mean, you guys killed it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I lucked out with the one of the best possible teammates you could have. But that was one of the coolest experiences of my life for sure.
Yeah.
I just was Jen Horsey and I were talking about it yesterday on the drive here. I mean, just the opportunity to turn off your phone and disconnect for 10 days and put your head down because of, I'm a writer. I'm not an athlete professionally, and it was nice to just put my head down and get to compete for 10 days with a really good friend. And in the end, we came out and won our division, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
They were an amazing team. They were the best team. That's how I met Alyssa. Well, officially kind of got to know her. And me and Erica, we were in a side-by-side in there in a Mercedes van. And so, she recently came to my house this last weekend. And she was cracking up because she's like, you know what? You give me a van, and this is no issue. I'll go right over that, and I know how to tackle that. And it was really cool, and we just had stories for days, but it was an amazing experience. And I have to say, Alyssa and Chrissy were there for our team. I know that. They were our kind of go-to shoulder to cry on.
Well, and you guys were like the few Americans over there at that point in time. I mean, there really wasn't, because I don't know, is there much as far as American media that even go over there? I mean, it's very few.
Not a ton of American media, and I mean, that year had the most American teams. There were 10 American teams there, so 20 women. And then pretty much everyone else speaks French. And you have like a handful of women from different countries. But, so we really became close because we were the only 20 people there that could even speak the language.
Yeah.
So that was, and there was such a bonding. I mean, we were in the middle of the Sahara Desert, navigating our way around and driving off-road in these incredible terrain. Stuff you would never be able to drive here in the U.S. So it was quite a bonding experience for sure.
It was cool.
It was cool.
Yeah. There is only 10 teams, so then you kind of needed everyone, like we all became really close because that's your support system when you're there. Like I said, you don't have a communications at all. Jolene.
We got Jolene dropping by. And I didn't know you guys got chased by the police. I was like, I can't wait till Joe sits down. I see you for like 3 days. You didn't even tell me you got chased by the cops.
We didn't know.
We didn't really know. Sarah and I were actually completely unaware as to why that was happening. And then we were like, why was Billy looking so like crazy and excited and like, we're like, what's going on? And then so we just followed him, and then he's like, did you see the cops? And we were like, nope, didn't see that, missed that. It's like, he was right behind you. No idea.
That's why we don't have rear mirrors in these Razors.
We were clueless. So it's a good thing we didn't have mirrors actually, because we could have totally pled ignorance in that. But like, we didn't see you. Yeah. We totally didn't. Like, in all honesty, I didn't see you.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Alyssa, though, you didn't totally miss out because we had to cut our ride short from that because she was there the previous days and we were riding our dirt bikes, and Alyssa, like, oh my gosh, she's such a champ. She was killing it. She's new to riding a motorcycle.
Never ridden trails.
Yeah.
Ever.
And out there is sketchy. There's rocks. I mean, it's...
Just ask Alyssa.
Yeah, a couple took me out.
Especially like the really steep inclines. And she was like, so how fast? What gear? And oh crap. And then there was just rocks and we're like, you got this. Yeah. Or going down the steep ones where you're having to brake and like hope not like brake check on the big rocks. Slide your bike out.
But I think that's cool though, because as a journalist, it gives you really an appreciation for what you cover with ESPN and like FMX and and racing and things, because you've been on a dirt bike and you're like, man, that isn't easy,
Oh, absolutely. And it's the one sport that I've covered and I've loved so much, and any chance I have to ride a dirt bike, 1 day here, 2 days here, 3 days here. And so now in the past year I actually have my own, and it's so much fun. I mean, I messed up so many times and fell so many times, and I had the best 2 days.
But she progressed tremendously from like the first couple minutes and first hour that we were out till like the last couple hours we were out the second day. We were taking her through some terrain and some areas that we would not have made it through in the first day.
It was crazy. Like, it was night and day difference, and she was such a trooper. She crashed quite a few times, but like, she didn't really have a hard one yet, and she even said, she goes, it's fine. She goes, I haven't really know what it feels like yet to crash. And I'm like, you crashed so many times.
And she always popped up so quickly.
I'm all right.
And then like, the funniest time, I'll never forget this in my whole life. But she went up this hill, right? She got to the top, and then Jolene, like, so she dates Jolene's brother. Yeah. And Billy's texting her, like, you didn't take pictures of us? And it's like, well, we aren't going to just carry our phone all day.
Stop in the middle of the ride to get some video.
So the next day, Jolene seriously was riding her dirt bike filming.
I had my iPhone with one hand, and I was just following Alyssa with the other so Billy could see the progression.
And so we get to the top of this one hill, and Jolene's like, okay, now you're going to go back up that. I'm going to film it for Billy. And so then she's at the top. Jolene already goes back down. She goes, wait, I have to go down that to get back up that. And I was like, yeah, you're okay. You got this. And then I was like, just put it in higher gear and let it coast down. And she did, and she, like, accomplished it and felt so awesome about it, but she was so terrified 'cause she had to go down it, and it was just so nonchalant how Joe, like, towed her, like,
I was just like, oh, I want to film that. You did so great. That was a really good incline. So we're going to go back down, do it again. And then it was like, it dawned on her that I was like, oh, crap, that's really steep, and I have to go down it now. But she did great. Yeah, and that was the one thing that was awesome about Alyssa was there was no, like, nervous freakouts or no, like, point where she looked at us and was like, you guys are idiots, take me back. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
It was always like, okay, how can I make this happen? How can I do this? She never got upset. She never got frustrated. She just was always willing to, like, listen to us, which a little bit of blind faith there, Alyssa. Sorry. No.
I mean, I had 2 pretty good coaches.
Yeah, I was going to say probably 2 of the best you could even imagine.
And
you know?
such a pleasure, too. I kept telling them it's just such a pleasure to watch both of you ride that it was just so much fun for me to just, like, drop back and take notes.
Which is funny now, me thinking about it. I'm like, you know, you look at women's motocross as a whole, and we've probably got 2 of the greatest women's motocross riders ever sitting here, you know? If we had Ashley Fialik sitting here, you would, like, have the trifecta, you know? It's like...
Next time.
Yeah.
Next
time.
Now I know our next riding crew is going to
be.
No, that was awesome. So on our trail ride, too, and I don't know if Jolene knows this, you're going to have to go up to Craig Scanlon. So he is the biggest Falcon fan.
Yeah.
Like Falcons and birds, not like the team.
Football team.
So remember when we were riding?
Saw that amazing. He was like huge, and I don't know if he was trying to catch something or we just scared him or what was going on there.
But he flew out like straight in front of me, and we both like yelled at each other, and we're like, "Oh my god, a Falcon!"
Did you see that? He was huge, just like flew out right in front of Sarah's bike. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Like, so Craig Scanlon actually built a room in his house to have a Falcon, but his wife won't let him have a Falcon. So when you go up to him, tell him, like, hey, no, it's for real. Sarah for sure saw a Falcon. I was with her. We saw it.
That is an undying love for Falcons to build an entire room dedicated to them.
By the way, I can confirm that they told me we saw a Falcon. We're about 3 minutes later, they're like, oh, listen, did you see the Falcon? And I was like, unless that Falcon is 5 to 15 feet in front of me on this trail, no, I did not see that Falcon. Like, I'm not to a point yet where I'm just like wandering and taking in the beauty of where we're at. We stop, and then I take in the beauty of which was really, really beautiful.
It's beautiful back there.
The rain in the last 3 months has turned California into some place
crazy
I don't recognize, and it was wonderful.
And all the wildflowers.
I didn't see the Falcon.
No, she missed.
Well, it's like when we went out and shot with Star Car, and Sarah and James tell me we got this amazing place to shoot. And I go, it's like, it's so green. You never see a desert racing car in a green photo shoot. And then we had there was snow in the background on the mountain caps. And it was like, I'm like, how do you shoot this? Like, you couldn't, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good time, though. It was really cool.
Nice.
There's times when me and Joe got on the bike double up some gnarly hills.
Oh, yeah, there were a few hills where we had to kind of work our way through it, and I had to ride her up the hill a few times to go back to get her bike.
So it was fun.
Yeah, so UTVs, we got you out here, UTV World Championship. Going to be riding in the car. I mean, from what I understand, so this morning we went out on the pre-run. You don't have, I mean, you've been around UTVs, I mean, obviously, but this is the first time you've actually been in them?
In
a UTV.
Yeah, I was trying to remember, like, even out at Pastrana's or something. I don't think I've actually I think I've sat in one in a showroom.
Yeah.
You know, but I've never, I have zero experience, maybe like driving one, like a Gator, or an old, when we called them ATVs around, for like the work machines they were. But no, I have no experience. This is, I am as rookie as they come.
But she's not rookie per se for racing.
No.
And you actually have a championship under your belt for, what is that?
I think it's Gazelles,
I know
right?
she missed that.
Yeah, she missed it.
We were just
I'm sorry.
Like a 10-minute segment on Gazelles.
I mean,
she is a champion.
I mean, if you want me to talk about my championship, I know I told Jolene, I was like, just so you know, I am 1-for-1 in my off-road career, so I'm expecting to keep that. I want to be batting 1,000.
She did drive her
like
factory
a legit
Mercedes.
Trophy for it? I mean,
I do, and I always take it and hide it because I'm like, this is silly. I'm a writer. Like, I'm not a off-road, and then, like, Billy will take it and, like, put it back on top of the shelf. He's like, hey, you won a legitimate championship. Put that trophy.
I was going to say, is that one of those things where Billy's got, like, all his old trophies or something, and you, like, push them off the mantle, and, like, mine goes here.
No, we each sort of have one thing.
Yeah. Aw, that's cute. No, you got to be proud of that. You were driving for factory Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
On top of that.
There's not many women, United States women have gone in Gazelles and taken home a trophy. Literally, it's...
Yeah. And she's extremely competitive from what she told me. So, Jolene, no pressure.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, if it was you and Chrissy, I mean, like, Chrissy, I know how competitive she is. Like,
yeah.
It was a perfect match.
Yeah, I was going to say, like...
Yeah.
Like, she can flip a switch, and she can go from nice Chrissy to, like, it's on. It's like...
That's for sure. You guys are, like, pretty identical personalities, I feel like. You guys are pretty similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, we had a good time. That event, that was the toughest thing about it, I think, is finding two friends, because a lot of people who do it are friends who can match each other in their competitive personality, but then also you're sitting in a van or a truck or a RZR together for 14 hours a day.
You gotta like each other.
Sharing a tent. You bet. Yeah, and I mean, we saw people leave that event and never speak again.
Yeah.
So to have left that event and have even more respect for my teammate and be even closer, and we just had so much fun. The harder it got, the more fun it got. That was cool, but I think that was the toughest thing, and same for Sara and Erica. I don't know anyone who went through more hardships than those two.
You two, gosh,
and they
that
were so
story
young. I mean, we were all so impressed day after day by the fact that something would go wrong, they'd get an hour of sleep, and next thing you know, they'd be the third team in, getting all their checkpoints, and it was like, how are they doing this?
We definitely had, like, the worst rally you could ever have. We were nowhere near the front, but we have stories, and I swear I'd rather have been that way than, like, a perfect rally. Like, I have stories for days and memories that will last a lifetime.
Yeah, your stories, it'd be like, oh, we won, but now it's like, you've got, like, literally stories to tell.
There was a time, actually, this is the funniest story. Me and Erica always tell it. So I was crying to you, Alyssa, and Erica was crying to Chrissy, and we were both, like, separated that morning she was doing plotting, and me and Alyssa are getting the cars ready or something. And then we get in the car, and Erica's like, I just broke down to Chrissy. And I was like, I just broke down to Alyssa. We're both like, what's wrong? That seems like our hero.
They're like, it's okay, young girls.
They totally were.
We mamaed them.
Yeah.
We mamaed them.
But, we weren't the only ones crying, so.
No, Kleenex could be a sponsor of the Gazelle Rally.
Yeah. Sure. It took us a while. We went through a lot before we actually shed tears, and we were impressed, actually, how long we lasted before everything that went wrong until we actually cried. But, yeah.
But now you're here, and you're going to do UTV.
Yeah, I'm psyched.
And you're going to
what I'm really
you're
do
in the Star Car, which is a pretty cool, car to be in for your first race.
Absolutely.
Which was kind of a surprise, right?
Just a little bit. But what I think
Alyssa, aren't you excited to race this race with me?
I am.
What? What?
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
racing?
what?
Jim's like, why are you guys laughing so hard?
But it's sort of like what I was saying about getting to go ride dirt bikes with you guys, to be sitting in the passenger seat with Jim and Jolene and get to see what you guys do up close and personal is such a privilege and a treat that I'm really excited about that. I'll be over there weighing down the passenger side and doing my part, but I'm psyched to see.
No, there's a little gauge on the dash that's.
You got to watch the gauge.
You got to watch the gauge, and that thing is literally like the lifeblood of the car. So it's like
it likes to stay on 199 a lot.
Like Trav rides with us a lot.
Trav rides with us.
He and I were texting him like, you don't even realize how you were in the car with us.
I'm like, we're back down to Travis. We're back down to Travis because it would spike and be like, no, we got it.
It found this thing and it would just stay pinned on 199.
Yeah.
And we're like, and it's still green there. You go to 200, it turns like yellow or something.
Yeah, goes
so
red.
it's like it was like on 199, and it was like Trav's in the car with us. He's like, he's here. He doesn't know it, but
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah,
well, I did say that. I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll go with good.
Yeah. Do we have the Trav that's beating David Higgins right now, or do we have the Trav that's parked in the trees? I don't know which one it is. It's like.
Well, we actually had a little bit of both at the Mint, I guess.
So you, Jolene, obviously we got you out here racing Star Car again, but the whole UTV thing, I know you and I have talked quite a bit. I mean, it's It's been kind of like I don't want to say reinvigorated your career or anything, but it's like been a kind of a cool like spin-off, you know?
No, it has. It's definitely given me a little bit of more longevity in off-road, just going down a new path with 4 wheels instead of, the 2. And I'm really enjoying it, and I have this awesome opportunity with you with the Star car, but I'm also now in the process of building my own personal car that I can kind of take to things or go to Camp RZRs, or, I'm hoping to set up a women's ride day event with Polaris and do some other things that will be really fun for me to just kind of get out there with my own car.
Yeah,
So
you've been
awesome.
doing Terracross a couple years
Terracross a couple years now and stuff like that. So we'll see. I'm hoping to do that again this year. Sarah, you're doing it again, hopefully.
think,
So.
yeah. I don't know for sure, but yeah.
I know James is. He just told me, he's like, I'm going back to Terracross. I missed that. So,
Yeah.
like, James told me today, I'm like, hey, whether you're in or not, James is in.
James
I'm telling
doesn't
you.
know what he's doing. He just like, this weekend, I'm racing. You are?
James isn't even supposed to be, like, walking on his...
Wait, James is racing this
Yeah,
weekend?
he's racing this
See?
weekend. He's not even supposed to be walking with his
Here's a-
freshly broken hip and surgery.
Here's a guy who literally has hip replacement surgery, and 2 days later,
Oh,
he's
my
in welding on my
gosh.
race
Yeah.
car. I'm like, James!
Getting the Star car ready, just being
This
an
is what
animal.
it takes to be Sarah Price's boyfriend.
Yes, clearly.
You've got to be a badass, right?
Jesus.
And yeah, now he's racing this weekend, and it's like, oh.
He's
I
like-
think the doctor said start physical therapy, but I didn't
You
say
think
start
he meant race
racing
cars. Yeah,
again.
James like, oh, I'll just throw the cane in the car with me.
Oh, he totally said he has the cane in the car with him, and when someone comes close, he's just going to stick it out because it's made out of 1 1/4 inch
Yeah,
steel.
you're not going to bend
Like,
it.
that thing is heavy duty. But, no, going back to Jolene getting into the sport, I think it's so awesome. Like, when she came to Terracross, I have no idea how long I was asking her, like, hey, you got to try these things out. Like, come race with
Maybe
me.
between you and I beating her up on it was
Yeah.
like finally she caved
Yeah,
in, you know? It
these
was
are
like,
the 2 reasons
Yeah.
I started here.
So when she came, I was so stoked, and then she even got second one time, and we were both sitting there like talking
Yeah.
on the podium. I'm like, this is sick, like, and then she's doing so well in it. Like, we were out driving the other day, and just like any little thing, like we're kind of like helping each other, like get better and faster. And someone like her is going to change the sport. Like, she's going to bring so many more females, get so much more attention to the other parts of the world. People who are involved in motocross who don't want to get hurt anymore. And,
Yeah.
it's not if, it's when in motocross.
Yeah.
And these cars provide that kind of little safety blanket that is accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited, and having like a women's ride day, like,
yeah.
there's so many females out in the desert just driving. A lot of them are kind of nervous to get into their first race, but doesn't mean that they're not out there. There's hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of them, you know?
Well, I definitely wanted to try to do maybe, 2 different ones. A ride day to introduce women to RZRs. So getting Polaris to bring a bunch of RZRs out and having women come out and ride that have never driven before. So giving them that opportunity so that they can see if it is something they want to, put their money into, or get their husband to, put their money into, or whatever, going down that road. And then doing a ride day where, like, I can invite a bunch of women that already race or already ride, and we all go out and do a really cool ride together.
That'd be really
so
cool.
I just think it'd be really fun to do sort of both of those things and have that, at my disposal with, the support of Polaris.
I think that's great. And another thing, too, when you go to Glamis, like, a lot of them own these cars, but yet their husbands are the ones driving most of the time. And so, it gives them the opportunity to feel comfortable in a setting with a bunch of other females to where they can hop in the driver's seat for once and be confident, and then they can go home and be like, hey, husband, you're in the passenger seat. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're out. This is my car now.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it really does just, take getting the bug into somebody, and maybe she's always just sat in the passenger seat and knows what it's all about, but hasn't really, stepped over and crossed the line, and that would be a really cool opportunity, like you said, to kind of get more women to want to be in the driver's seat and racing.
Yeah, Alyssa, you're next. Into the driver's seat.
We're going to try the passenger seat or the co-driver's seat first.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm psyched to try and drive one of
That's
these
gonna
things.
be fun.
I mean, that's something that I learned from interacting with so many women at the Gazelle and then at the Rebelle, the U.S. rally, all-women's rally, is so many of those women wanted to rally. They wanted to compete. They drive off-road. But when an event is just open to anyone, or it's really open to men, and if a woman has to fight her way into it, a lot of them are intimidated to do that.
Yeah.
And so when it's a women's only event, the intimidation factor is gone, and they sign up, and then they end up going on to do other things. But so many of the women I talked to said, I've wanted to do this forever, there's just nowhere to do it. And they sort of, they assume that most races are not welcoming of women, not inviting to women. And so having an event where you say, no, this is for women, come out, and I'm going to teach you, or just come out and get to know one another and build a community, that's so important.
Yeah, well, it's like earlier today we had Kristen Matlock on air. She's won Baja in a razor. We had Shelby Anderson. I know Sierra Romo's bouncing around, and she's helping out Shelby, and she's racing. But, the list goes on. There's Maddie Cox. There's so many women in UTV racing. It's so awesome. Danielle's another one, and, it's awesome to be a part of a sport where it's so welcoming to women, and it's their equals,
And they're not slow either. That's the cool thing.
They're all fast.
They're equals. They're treated like equals, but competition-wise, they're equals. And
I think that was a really cool thing for me, and another reason that I kind of fell in love with it so quickly was my first race at Heydays 2 years ago. Is I met all of those girls all at once, and got to race with them all and be introduced to that, introduced to the industry, introduced to the sport, introduced to these great girls, and introduced to racing with these awesome fast girls. And then to have been in that mix and felt that competition again that I used to feel with racing motocross and growing up with that, but then being in a new element with a whole bunch of unknowns, that I instantly was just yep, okay, here I am. I'm staying. I'm stuck.
Right.
I want to be here.
Here I really love the idea that you not only can a man and a woman be teammates in the same car, but you're competing against men, women, all in the same playing field. There are just very few sports where you're able to do that. Yes. And then the playing field is even.
There's no difference. And honestly, I feel like in any form of car motorsport where there's a female able to be in the driver's seat, there should be no gender difference. A female is just as capable as a male is as capable as a female in a driver's seat. There's no strength that is hindering a female or any strength that is helping a male. It's precision. It's, endurance. Of course, you got to be a fit female. But, there's nothing that should separate the two.
But I would say right now the one thing that does is opportunity.
Exactly.
That's the advantage that men have over women right now.
Yes. But I think also, like we were speaking about, it was just when a guy wants to do something, they just go balls out and do it.
Right.
When a woman wants to do something, they don't always know, or they're a little timid. That was, kind of one of the reasons I've gotten to where I am in my career is I have that attitude of a dude. If I want something, I go and get it. I don't I just go make it happen.
Right.
I go balls
You're
out.
not asking permission.
Yeah. So
Can I do this?
Yeah, it's
well, no, sorry.
It's hey, by the way, I'm joining you.
Yeah.
That's
no choice.
This is happening. I'm a part of this. So it's not a lot of women are more timid in that aspect, and especially with action sports and especially with male-dominated things. They're just not willing to always speak up, and I will speak up for all of us if I need to.
Yep. I think that's cool. And there needs to be women like that, though, and that's why you've paved such a path for women in motorsports and action sports, extreme sports. There is some that have the talent, but yet they don't have the voice or the personality or attitude to get there. And it does take a strong human being and to know people can't just walk all over you. You know what I mean? You got to stand your ground and know I belong here and I'm going to be here. Sorry. This is how it goes.
Yeah.
Like it or hate it.
Jim, are you feeling the girl power
I
right
know.
now?
You have us over here. We're just roar.
Well, I was earlier we had Kristen Matlock and Shelby and her on, and I'm I was
He's his chair is slowly backing away.
I know, he's
No, but that, though, that's one of the things when I started this radio show 5 years ago, was one of those things where I was I want to empower women in motorsports and give them a voice, because there is some amazing stories and they don't get told. And it's because there's no reason. It's just that guys, generally that are radio hosts or in radio, they just, for some odd reason, it's oh, there's a guy, let's grab him on, and it's well, there's the girl there that just did something just as awesome. And you didn't ask her, and I don't know if they subconsciously just don't. I don't know the reason, but I'm I want to give those women a voice, and it's
Do you think they feel like they're not going to give as good of an interview? They're not going to be.
I get some of the best interviews from women, though. It's
you gotta wonder why, though.
I think some of it is an unconscious bias, but I think also there are still people who believe that on a sports show, people don't want to hear a woman's voice.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't have enough female radio hosts. It's why we don't have enough female play-by-play or analysts, color on TV. It's because there's still, I think, this old-fashioned idea that if I'm watching sports or I'm listening to sports, I want to hear a man's voice attached to it.
Yeah.
Maybe it goes down to just like when you're in middle school and girls have cooties. And they just, like maybe they're just like, well, I don't know what I'd say to her. Yeah. Or what do I talk about with a girl? Like,
right, yeah.
Maybe it's just the awkwardness of them just honestly not knowing like what to say when, hey, we're chicks.
You can have the exact same conversation.
Have the exact same, that's it.
Oh, see, and that's how I've always approached it.
The big
it's
secret,
like,
have the same conversation you would with the boo.
Yeah.
One thing I do really want to touch base on, though, like, our core group of females in UTVs, like all the girls that me and Jolene are really close to, they are the best representatives of our sport and women in any sport. Mm-hmm. We are all close. We're good friends. We all support each other. We don't ever talk bad about each other. We don't ever, have an issue. We are always there supporting them. If they beat us, they beat us. The other girl beat us. Full on, you're better than me today.
It's like running up and giving like leaping hugs to each other because it's like, oh my God, you're like celebrating with the person. You're like just as excited for them and their win and their championship or whatever it is than if you were the one that was there doing it too. You know,
well, you guys drive each other hard. You guys race each other hard. You'll rub on each other, but it's not a malicious. It's not, you know what I mean. It's not, I'm going to take you out. It's just you're racing hard, you know. And
I don't know how many times I've tackled like Shelby and Sarah like, when they've won different things. I've been like, yes, because I feel like, that's awesome.
But one thing I think, there's that stigma attached to it, especially in motocross. I felt like a lot in UTVs. Like, people sometimes avoid the females because they're going to be like, oh, well, they're just going to be a bunch of girls in drama. And that's not the case. Like, we're here to race. We're just like the men. We're doing everything by the book, and we're respecting each other. And I think that's most important, and that's cool, and that people need to see that, and that people do see that we're not here being women and being drama. We're not in drama racers.
NDR.
Cool. Drama. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for stopping by. Looking forward to wheeling with you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, thank you guys for inviting me out.
So I have to tell a quick story before we get off air, even though we're way over. But
Sarah's like, oh, by the way, you're not.
So we were having dinner the other night, and Alyssa, she didn't know she was riding in the star car. And so she was like, so who is even riding in the car?
Yeah, that's how it's, who's your celebrity guest this weekend? And I was like, you, Alyssa.
And she was like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, you're supposed to ride with me. Do you not know that? And I was like, I thought you were too. And then she's like, this makes it so much cooler.
I do pay some attention. I just thought I was, a media ride. I thought you guys were going to give me
you didn't know you were actually in the race.
Yeah, I was going to get a media ride and then, put my cheerleading uniform on and cheer for you guys. And, I said, who's the star in your car this week?
Yeah, you had Tanner at the Mint. Like, who do you have this week? And I was like, I was like, you're the star. You are our star.
Well, this weekend just got way more fun.
Yeah.
It caught her by such surprise, though. Her reaction was priceless.
Yes, that was highly entertaining.
So I hope her first one goes amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
All right, we can let you go now.
Yeah, we got Sean with the Enthusiast Network. We're gonna the other star rider in the star car, so he's going to pop in here. Yeah, we're way over time, but we're good. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Got a few minutes here. How's everything going, buddy? It's been a while, man.
Oh, yeah, it's going good.
Yeah.
Going good.
Yeah. No, they had an Easter egg hunt here earlier.
They put a bunch of eggs on the table.
Yeah, so we've been stealing all the candy out of them.
Sean, part of the fun bunch.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sean, you know Sarah Price? Yes.
Absolutely.
Who doesn't know Sarah Price, right?
We go way back from TV days and women's motocross, the
Really?
Sweet 16.
Right. Back in the days when we were doing television for Lucas Oil Women's Motocross Series.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Part of the fun bunch.
Yeah, you've been around this industry, quite a while. You've bounced around, and, you're with the Enthusiast Network now, but, you've held quite a few different jobs.
Worked for a couple of race teams. Now we're at the Enthusiast Network, working on all the magazines. I work in the on our off-road four-wheeler truck side. So we have several different brands that we're handling there.
Yeah. How's it been for you, too? Because I know you've been out, desert races and a lot of short course and moto, but now with the Enthusiast Network, it's everything from off-road to, rock crawling to mud stuff. And I mean, it's been probably been pretty fun for you to get like a whole grasp of the industry now.
Oh yeah, I get to, it's definitely, you get into the off-road stuff and you get to go and hang out with, I've been in Moab all week hanging out with all the Jeep guys, doing Easter Jeep Safari and rock crawling and doing all the Jeep stuff. And, we get to see all the vehicles, all the new vehicles that come out in Detroit before anybody else gets to see them. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, in Moab, I know, like I've got so many friends. It was just like it's a whole different world up there, man.
Hundreds of Jeeps all week. This is the biggest weekend for them. Just Jeeps everywhere.
I just see the cool pictures. I've actually never been.
Yeah, I've never been to Moab either.
And there's a ton of UTVs now, so there's just as many UTVs there as there are Jeeps.
Yeah.
When are you guys going to get more involved in UTV specific stuff?
Well, that's something we're talking about. That's why we're here this weekend, and we're definitely looking at doing more UTV coverage. It's definitely blowing up. They're taking over all the off-road races.
Checking it out.
Even some of the top rock crawlers and trophy truck drivers are racing UTVs now.
I know, we were just talking.
McCachran's, throwing his hat in the ring now. You got Larry Ragland, and Reese Millen. It's just some legendary guys are all of a sudden, let's go UTV racing. Robbie Gordon.
Look at King of the Hammer, Shannon Campbell. There's one on in his rock crawler and in the UTV race, right?
It's amazing. And he's here racing now in a UTV specific race, and that just goes to show, like, he really enjoyed it, and he's back for more.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are going to give R.J. Anderson a run for his money, aren't they?
Yeah, RJ's kind of been sitting around. Well, that's what's funny. Like, RJ, he didn't even do Terracross this last year. Like,
no.
He hadn't been doing a lot of racing in UTVs.
No.
He's been filming videos and things like that, and he's like the face of Polaris. But I started looking, I'm like, RJ, he really hasn't done much racing in the last year. It's like in a lot. I think he's going to get a rude awakening when he does, because it's like, man, some of these young kids, they're bringing the heat.
Oh, dude, like, that's like me. I've been out of the racing for a little bit now. King of the Hammers was my last race, and I'm like, God, I better be on it when I come back because I've been away for a little bit. And if you're not getting that seat time, you're not staying fast.
It's all about that seat time.
All about that seat time.
Absolutely, yeah. Speaking of seat time, stoked to have you in the car tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
I was going to say, how many you've been out to desert races a ton. How many times have you actually ridden in cars in, like, race conditions?
I can count on one hand.
I was going to say, I know you've been in race cars before, but I was going to say it's probably
very few times. Yeah. Usually hanging out of the helicopters, chasing the race, or on the side shooting as they're going by. So this is definitely going to be a different perspective.
Yeah, especially UTVs, man. It's just, I know me, like, coming over from trophy truck side, it's like, it's a whole different feel to everything. They're ridiculously fast. That's what's. You can attest to it. We talked about it. 10 years ago, those like rhinos. I'm like, well, I would never think about racing a rhino. Now, like these UTVs, it's like a miniature Class 10 car. It's like
utility
crazy.
Vehicle turned race car.
Yeah. What blows me away is the amount of money that you can spend on these things. Just the parts that are available now, and all the companies that have stepped up in the industry that are building things for the UTV market. It's just interesting to watch that grow from where it started.
It's blowing up, and just like Ivan Stewart was just here talking, he goes, "This is the tip of the iceberg," and he goes, "Still so much more to come."
That's another guy, probably the most legendary off-road driver ever, and he's got, he's all in with the UTV industry. He's got a Polaris dealership, It's like
it's cool. It's awesome to see that, though, like how it's evolved. And I'm sure he has like a Polaris that he just drives around just for fun with his wife, like he said, on all his adventures. And that's what it comes down to, and that's where he's at now. And he sees this, and this is intriguing to him because he still has that racing in him, and yet he can go and have a Sunday cruise with his race car.
I don't know, 10 years from now, this is going to be the top class at the Baja 1000, right?
Yeah. No, I can see that, actually.
Yeah, who knows where it's going to go, I don't know. It's kind of, I would have never figured it'd get to where it's at. Let's put it that way,
Right.
10 years ago, I wouldn't have called this. No way.
Well, all the trophy truck teams have UTV teams.
Yeah.
They're starting them. They're figuring it out.
It's amazing to see, these guys are, souping up these UTVs, going out racing with them. And then they're at Glamis with the same UTV, hanging out and just playing around on the weekends and going up to Dumont and Pismo and running around the desert. And, then they're back in the race.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy, but it's awesome. And that's why it's so big. And, these people, you have the people that are going out to the desert and they're taking a look at the racing and they're going into racing for the first time. And you can still be pretty competitive without putting all that money in your car. You can race in a stock class and have minimal things done, and you can last to the end if you're smart.
I have a friend who owned one of those, $100,000 sand cars with all the bells and whistles on it, and he sold it. He got into, a Polaris UTV, got a 4-seater for his family, and he goes, what I like about this is I can put this thing in my garage, and I don't have to do minimal prep work to it. I can pull it out of the garage next weekend. I can go out, come back Sunday, put it back in my garage, and really all I got to do is wash it.
Yep.
That's literally the truth. The 4-seater we took on the pre-run earlier, I've been running that thing around all winter long in Parker and everything else. The guy's like, we're going to go to the pre-run. What do we need to do for prep? And I'm like, we changed the oil in it like 200 miles ago. It's good to go. Like, literally, we didn't touch it. It went out there. We did, 16-mile loop, and there was nothing the matter with it. If it would have been like our truck pre-runner, it would have been like, we got to do a full prep to go do 60 miles. It's like, just take it. But, yeah, man, stoked to have you part of the program and out here, and good to see you again. And, we got to wind things down here. We're like 30 minutes over time.
I know.
We're all good.
I'm seeing we're supposed to end at 2:30, and it's 3 o'clock.
Yeah, so, all right. But,
we'll be pitting for you guys, though. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Star Car, unite.
Yeah.
It's kind of awesome to have Sara Price as my pit crew. I don't know about that.
She's smarter than I am in regards to UTVs. It's like
I like to prep my own car most of the time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's a sense of security in mind, and you just kind of know your product, your car.
Yep. All right, well, we're going to wind things up here from the 2017 Polaris RZR UTV World Championship. Thanks to all you for tuning in, and we're going to sign off here from the Polaris RZR booth, and see you guys on race day tomorrow.